Vol 2, Chapter 1-on-1, Expanding the Scope of Scientific Research. Upon his arrival at Dawn Planet, Tang Xiao made his way to his former residence near the city hall. As expected, he found a figure practicing Tai Chi in the yard. It was none other than Professor Qi Jianjun, who had taken over his room. After several days of recuperation, Professor Qi's complexion had visibly improved. Engrossed in his Tai Chi movements, he simultaneously offered remote guidance through the holographic terminal connected to his glasses. Every so often, he would glance at the data displayed on his glasses, occasionally uttering technical jargon that was beyond Tang Xiao's comprehension. Despite this, Tang Xiao could vaguely make out that they were discussing a large ship. Choosing not to interrupt, Tang Xiao stood silently, observing Professor Qi with a warm smile. Once Professor Qi completed his Tai Chi sequence and wrapped up his communication, he turned to notice Tang Xiao. "Ah, manager, when did you arrive?" "My apologies, I was assisting young Feng Yongwang in deciphering the load-bearing capacity formula for a set of keels." Professor Qi greeted him, his demeanor towards Tang Xiao noticeably warmer than before. This change was partly due to his realization of Tang Xiao's genuine commitment to the advancement of the fourth civilization. "I came to check on your recovery, Mr. Qi. Seeing you in good spirits reassures me," Tang Xiao replied with a smile. Laughing, Professor Qi responded, "Ha ha, don't think you can coax me into extending my service. I plan to retire in 5 years, so no tricks will work on me." "Doesn't matter. By then, the Milky Way will likely be in complete turmoil," Tang Xiao remarked casually, taking a seat on the flower terrace. "The project you were discussing with Feng Yongwang, was it about the destroyer?" "Indeed. We opted for the Cushion Civilization's Revenge-class light destroyer. Given that the Cushion Civilization's technology forms the basis of the Glory's current mothership, it's the least challenging to analyze," Professor Qi explained. "I've entrusted Feng Yongwang with leading this project, and he's already secured the necessary personnel and laboratory resources from Clement." "Did you run into any technical issues?" Tang Xiao inquired further. "It's not so much an issue as it is a challenge. We're dealing with the structural design of the spacecraft's keel. The Revenge-class light destroyer has a total mass of 15,000 tons. To support such a weight under an acceleration of 75 meters per second requires a robust structure." Professor Qi elaborated. "That's good. It'll be a valuable learning experience for Feng Yongwang, and you can retire knowing you've left things in capable hands," Tang Xiao said with a laugh. "Humph, that boy still has a long way to go," Professor Qi retorted, though Tang Xiao could sense a hint of pride and relief in his tone. "But my work isn't done yet. I still have a few days of rest before the first batch of SCVs is produced. Then, construction of the second research institute and the launch of a new project under my leadership will commence." "Is this related to the construction ship technology from the Traders Emergency Alliance?" Tang Xiao asked. "That's only a part of it, manager. The team I'm leading will initiate a series of projects, tackling several challenges simultaneously," Professor Qi clarified. "One issue we must address is our current rate of resource output." Tang Xiao's smile faded, replaced by a serious nod. "With the Vengeance-class destroyer set to begin experimental construction within 2 to 3 months, and the SCVs soon to be operational, our infrastructure development will accelerate significantly. These endeavors will consume vast amounts of resources. Moreover, advancing our understanding of basic physics is crucial. Maintaining progress and ensuring Guanyan's involvement is crucial, but establishing experimental facilities for basic physics also demands significant resources," Qi Jianjun explained. Tang Xiao, who had been grappling with this issue for some time, agreed, saying, "Indeed, I've discussed this with Clement on multiple occasions. Currently, our resource output is severely constrained, affecting not just raw materials, but also various processed products, electronic chips, integrated circuits, and more. These items must be produced by the mothership's production line, necessitating the establishment of additional factories. However, expanding our manufacturing capabilities means increasing our demand for resources and personnel. I presume your concern is the shortage of hibernating personnel? This is indeed a pressing issue, given our total population of 600,000 residents and 50,000 crew members, all of whom are essential across various sectors. The workforce for manufacturing is particularly limited, Qi Jianjun interjected. Exactly. That's why I plan to enter into a series of agreements with Damask Holding Group, who will become our investors. We aim to bring in a wealth of talent, factories, and resources. These collaborations will require us to align further with the Galactic Republic. I've recently awakened two key figures to facilitate the integration of our economy and electronics, Tang Xiao explained. You're at the helm, and these concerns are rightfully yours. However, allow me to offer some advice, or rather, share some wisdom as an elder, Qi Jianjun offered. Please, go ahead, Mr. Qi. Maintain a calm mind and a steady posture. Embrace openness and emptiness. Harmonize the internal and external. Blend softness with strength. Utilize both in tandem and unleash power effortlessly, Qi Jianjun advised, demonstrating Tai Chi movements. Tang Xiao pondered the deeper meaning of these words. Balance between stillness and motion, and seize the opportunity to strike. Worrying excessively is futile. Slowing down doesn't necessarily mean losing the initiative. A steady approach lays the foundation, and mastering this balance is a true test of your leadership. Qi Jianjun elaborated, drawing circles on his chest before delivering a punch. Tang Xiao, slightly taken aback, bowed to Qi Jianjun, saying, "Your insight is far-reaching." Qi Jianjun smiled. "With age comes perspective. I eagerly await the day our fourth civilization's fleet soars through the cosmos, a sight I hope to witness on television." "You will, I assure you." "Now, since you've awakened the masters, it's time to meet them. As for me, my upcoming projects focus on three areas: the engineering spacecraft of the Traders Emergency Alliance, their planetary mining equipment, and enhancing our space mining capabilities through new technologies, Qi Jianjun shared. "Which technology are you pursuing?" "A mining drone, developed by the United Mining Group." "United Mining Group?" Tang Xiao pondered the familiar name before realization dawned. "Professor Qi, does this group operate a mining frigate known as the Charger class?" Vol 2, Chapter 102, Birds and Flowers. "Indeed, Manager. It seems you've thoroughly done your homework," Qi Jianjun said with a laugh. "The technology from Eve that United Mining Group is employing is groundbreaking." Tang Xiao couldn't help but feel elated. The fact that Qi Jianjun boldly initiated the dual technology tree projects of Original Sin of the Empire of the Sun and Eve simultaneously indicated his profound confidence. The technology and spaceships featured in Eve are not only advanced, but also form a comprehensive, self-sufficient system. However, Tang Xiao initially hesitated to prioritize Eve because its spaceships lacked the capability for atmospheric combat. In the Star Wars universe, with its abundance of habitable planets, warfare frequently extends to ground operations. This context made the scientifically inclined spaceships of EV less appealing as a first choice. Yet, as the technologies from Starcraft evolve, fulfilling the requirements for atmospheric combat, venturing into the Eve technology tree undoubtedly becomes a strategic move. "Regarding the mining drone, we still need..." Qi Jianjun interrupted. "The technology from United Mining Group is significantly behind ours and isn't our current focus. Our primary aim with developing these mining drones is to extract small mineral deposits within planetary belts, thereby boosting our resource production." "That's reassuring to hear, Mr. Qi," Tang Xiao expressed, feeling immensely relieved. Qi Jianjun's ability to consistently exceed expectations was perhaps a testament to the adage that there's wisdom in age. Tang Xiao was keen on continuing their conversation when he noticed a group approaching. Turning, he saw Gulaham and several individuals from the city hall. Among them, two stood out. One was a large, rotund man, and the other, a slender man with round glasses. Their contrasting appearances would make them a perfect comedic duo, albeit their mismatched heights and builds. "Managers, I've brought two newly awakened experts. This is Marvin Hitz, an economist, and Tremi Bullard, a computer specialist," Gulaham introduced. "It's a pleasure to have you join us. Since you've just awakened, please proceed to your accommodations for some rest." "Gulaham, have the Human Resources Department make the necessary arrangements." Tang Xiao greeted them warmly. "The accommodations aren't my concern, but I heard you acquired an alien computer system? I'd like to see it," Tremi Bullard, the larger of the two, remarked. "I, too, am eager to begin work. While I hope for decent living conditions, that's not my immediate priority. Marvin Hitz, the economist, added, showing little interest in the accommodations. Wait a moment. That won't do. Chi Jianjun interjected. The manager has prepared a luxurious mansion as a reward for your contributions. It would be unwise to decline. Is that so? Well, if there's a mansion involved, I suppose I can't turn it down. Tremi Bullard responded nonchalantly, but remember to install the computer equipment I'll need. All right, we'll take a look. Marvin Hitz adjusted his glasses and smiled, displaying a calm demeanor. In that case, rest up first. Afterward, someone will give you a tour of the colony and brief you on the current situation. We'll discuss work details in a few days. Tang Xiao concluded, shaking hands with them before adding, I'll be returning to the Mothership later today, so I'll leave things in your capable hands, Gulaham. Don't worry, manager, Gulaham assured. As night fell, a piercing scream echoed through the villa area, blending with the calls of the Dawn Planet's birds and the rustle of their wings. Send 888 Cash Hongbausch. Follow the WeChat public account Basecamp to discover popular masterpieces and a chance to win 8888 Cash red envelopes. Graham, lounging in the city hall, shifted in his sleep, glanced at the window, and then settled back down to continue his slumber. Meanwhile, in Tang Xiao's residence, Professor Chi Jianjun was in a cheerful mood, humming a tune while pouring himself a glass of white wine, savoring it alongside peanuts. Administrator, we're currently working on decrypting the mainframe system acquired from the pirates. The progress is uncertain at this moment. As for Marvin Heights, the establishment of the National Bank and the transition to a new currency system to replace the current work tickets are underway. We anticipate issuing the first batch of currency within 3 months. Gulaham reported to Tang Xiao during a holographic communication. Tang Xiao, under the watchful eye of the T-850, reminiscent of Schwarzenegger, was vigorously engaged in metalworking. After completing a series of tasks, he paused to catch his breath and inquired, How are Marvin and Brad adjusting to their new life on Dawn Planet? Gulaham's expression turned peculiar, but he managed to respond. Marvin Heights left the villa on the first night and has since been staying with Professor Chi Jianjun. As for Brad... What happened to Brad? Tang Xiao noticed Graham's increasingly odd demeanor. He moved into the villa, and after we installed the host system, he hasn't left. Moreover, 2 days later, Luo Feng and several technicians from the Electronic Systems Department also moved in and have been out of sight since. Interestingly, the large bird nesting under the windowsill ventured out for food a few times, preying on beasts the size of rabbits. Tang Xiao nodded, evidently pleased. It seems some of our top talents truly understand the essence of luxury, returning to nature. Brad and Luo Feng have indeed embraced a broader perspective. I wonder if they're on the path to enlightenment, Graham muttered under his breath. What was that? Tang Xiao asked. Nothing. I was just saying that all operations are proceeding smoothly. The first batch of 10 SCVs has been delivered, and I'm currently organizing training for the workers. Gulaham quickly covered. Good, I'm aware of that, Tang Xiao acknowledged, moving away from the Smith machine to gaze at the new space science research module being constructed outside the window. The SCVs are now operational in space and contributing to the construction of new space facilities. Is there anything else? I'm organizing the production of a few films, focusing on our civilization's battles against the 3 previous cataclysms. These will also highlight your family's distinguished contributions during the wars. It would be beneficial if you could attend the premiere and deliver a speech, Gulaham suggested. All right, inform the master of the schedule and have it arrange my availability, Tang Xiao agreed, then lay down on the bench press. The T-850, resembling Schwarzenegger, carefully handed him a 60 kilograms barbell. Vol 2, Chapter 103, King of the Black Sun. Tang Xiao meticulously followed his daily regimen, starting with 5 sets of bench presses before moving on to his meal plan, which consisted of 100 grams of protein and 150 grams of boiled chicken breast. His schedule was packed, with a morning meeting at the highest combat command to discuss the design and finalization of the Vengeance-class destroyer and the research and development of new infantry equipment. In the afternoon, He planned to meditate for 2 hours on Dawn Planet, followed by an evening meeting with the administration department. While engaging in his bench press routine, Tang Xiao instructed his assistant, T-850, "Master, please bring up the personnel list. Set the filter for expertise in business negotiation and foreign trade at a master level." "Understood, manager. After the search, 3 candidates have been identified and their information has been projected into your implanted chip," T-850 responded. Tang Xiao reviewed the candidates and selected one. "It's her. Send her name to the personnel department for immediate awakening." "Will do, manager. Do you have any other instructions?" T-850 inquired. "I've been swamped lately, so I won't meet her personally. Ensure she gets up to speed with the Fourth Civilization's situation as soon as possible. We're expecting a visit from a representative sent by Hego Damask too soon, and I need a professional enough representative to negotiate with them," Tang Xiao instructed. "Understood." The candidate, Gross Shelbia, a 29-year-old female master in business and trade, is scheduled for immediate awakening, T-850 confirmed. Tang Xiao smiled, impressed by her credentials. To become a master at 29 is quite remarkable. Perhaps talent truly is crucial in business negotiations. With that, he took a deep breath and refocused on his workout. In the central star region of the Milky Way, on the beautiful and habitable planet of Naboo, a grand dinner was underway in the Palace of Theed, the capital city. Naboo, known for its vast grasslands, blue oceans, and rich culture, boasted a population of 4.5 billion, with 70% being Gungans, who lived in the ocean and rarely engaged with the outside world, leaving the remaining 30% as humans residing on land. The dinner was a gathering of Naboo's wealthiest businessmen, officials, and celebrities, buzzing with lively conversations and significant deals being struck over drinks. Among the attendees was a man in his 40s with long blonde hair, trying his best to appear handsome despite his ordinary features, which gave him a somewhat nouveau-rich appearance. However, those who knew him understood that he was far from just a wealthy upstart. Alexei Garin, the current leader of the Black Sun, the largest and most influential criminal organization in the galaxy, stood in the shadows of the balcony, sipping fine wine from a crystal cup. His attention, however, was not on the wine, but on a group of individuals in the venue, a bald man in a luxurious red robe and several Neimoidians engaged in a quiet but intense argument. Given their high status, no one dared to intervene or even approach them. After some time, the Neimoidians and the bald man went their separate ways, with the latter visibly upset. He whispered instructions to an attendant beside him, then resumed his facade of calmness. In the dimly lit room, Garin turned to face King Els Varuna of Naboo, who had just poured himself a glass of the 300-year-old Lartier craft beer. With a calm demeanor, Garin remarked, "The Neimoidians from the Trade Federation are truly deceitful. You've just missed out on savoring the rich and enduring aroma of that beer, King Els Varuna." The king, a bald man, clenched his teeth in frustration. "I've risked a conflict with the Gungans and increased the production of plasma ore, yet the Trade Federation seizes the chance to drive down the price, citing oversupply as their excuse." Varuna, on the verge of cursing out loud, caught himself, glancing around before swallowing his words. "Patience, your mess, tie. The tide will turn in our favor. We're on the right path now," Garin reassured him, swirling his glass. "I can't find peace in patience, Mr. Garin," Varuna replied, shaking his head. "I've already made significant concessions in the plasma ore export agreement with the Trade Federation, and now they're pressing for even more. That's why I suggested earlier that it would be wiser to end the contract with the Trade Federation and partner with us at Black Sun. If the plasma ore trade were in our hands, we could command black market prices, which would undoubtedly exceed what the Trade Federation offers," Garin proposed. Varuna's expression wavered. "It's with the support of Black Damask II that I ascended to the throne. If I terminate the contract now, it could." "His support is merely financial," Garin interjected with a light smile. "It's not just about money. Black Damask II and Naboo's planetary counselor, Shiv Palpatine, have also provided economic and political assistance," Varuna countered. "If you truly appreciated their help, you wouldn't be seeking my counsel," Garin retorted with a sneer. It's not a matter of gratitude. They're exploiting me and my planet to an intolerable extent, Varuna exclaimed, striking the balcony railing in anger. Their condition for supporting my claim to the throne was the plasma ore trade agreements with the Trade Federation and facilitating their members' entry into the Galactic Council, but they've crossed the line. Note 1. Plasma ore is a unique resource from planet Naboo, whose core contains a distinctive form of plasma. This results in abundant semi-solid plasma ore deposits in the planet's ocean depths. In Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, the blue orbs used by the Gungans against the Trade Federation's droid army, known as Booma, are made from this plasma ore. This resource is a major source of foreign trade income for Naboo, but the majority of these plasma mines are located in Gungan territories, which is a primary cause of the long-standing conflict between the Naboo humans and the Gungans. Vol 2, Chapter 104, The Maneuvers of an Underworld Tycoon. Garen, with a light smile, began. So, the crux of the matter isn't the Trade Federation, but Black Jedamask too. In his eyes, you're merely a pawn to be exploited. Only by freeing yourself from his grip can Naboo gain the strength to annul the unfair contract with the Trade Federation, correct? Varuna responded with a cold snort. Once our collaboration with Nubia Interstellar Drive on the N1 Starfighter project is complete, if the Trade Federation dares to overstep, I'll ensure they regret it. Are you referring to the development of the N1 Starfighter? That's indeed a significant endeavor. Rest assured, until the Starfighter is ready, Black Sun can guarantee Naboo's safety, Garen said with a sneer. Once we reach an agreement, even the Trade Federation will have to think twice before targeting Naboo. But what about now? Are we to let Black Jay continue to trample over us? Varuna was visibly upset. Garen, with a sardonic smile, refilled Varuna's glass and clinked his own against it. Black G is a businessman at heart. Can you truly trust his word? Hence, Black Sun is the ally you need. Despite our unconventional business practices, I assure you, we have more honor than those so-called businessmen. What are you implying? Varuna sensed an underlying message. Garen clarified. The problem lies with Black Jedamask too. Leave him to me. Once the Interstellar Banking Association stops siding with the Trade Federation, they'll think twice before acting rashly. You'll be free to terminate the unfair treaty and partner with us on equal footing. You dare confront Black G? It's not about daring. He's already crossed me. Garen's smile turned sinister. Black G betrayed Ghidorah the Hutt, causing significant losses for us at Black Sun. We don't stand by when our allies are threatened. This was true for Ghidorah, and it's true for Naboo. With that, he tossed his crystal wineglass off the balcony, adding coldly, Once I deal with Black G, the Trade Federation will naturally back down. In the realm of plasma mining, Black Sun will be your most reliable partner. King Varuna, with a somber tone, replied, If that's the case, I await your good news. Overcoming Black G will allow us to escape the Trade Federation's clutches. If partnering with you proves beneficial, I'm confident I can persuade the ministers. Our offer at Black Sun will triple what the Trade Federation has proposed, Garen stated, bowing gracefully to Varuna before disappearing into the night. Varuna watched Garen's departure, his expression turning stern. Black G. Garen made his way to the tarmac and boarded his shuttle, where a pale female bodyguard awaited him. Miguela, investigate Black G's recent activities. I'm particularly interested in his role in the Tatooine unrest and his sudden withdrawal of support for Ghidorah, the Hutt. Understood. Then added, Additionally, Vigo Cash Garland reported that the pirates of Iron Fang Kukan, who were entrenched around Tatooine, have been eradicated last month. Garen frowned. Last month? That coincides with the start of the Tatooine riots. Instruct Garland to probe for any connections between the two events. He's already on it. Since Iron Fang Kukan was under his protection, their elimination demands retribution, Miguela informed. Garen waved dismissively. Focus on Black G. If he truly betrayed Ghidorah, he'll have no one to blame but himself. In the outer reaches of the Milky Way, nestled within the Tian Cluster's outer periphery, lies the planet Mercana. Its surface is dominated by a vast, deep blue sea that borders on black, against which the city of Mercana stands out, perched atop a massive cliff. The architecture of the city is unique, with buildings spiraling upwards in vibrant hues, reminiscent of colossal coral reefs. Mercana serves as a crucial hub for the trade alliance, offering transit, supply, and various functions, including resource extraction and industrial manufacturing, to support the otherwise barren region. On the balcony of a grand mansion, a burly figure lounges, casually holding a piece of fruit. This individual is a Twi'lek, though far from the slender norm of his species. His muscles are excessively developed, verging on grotesque, and his left eye has been replaced with a mechanical one. Due to a mismatch in size, the prosthetic eye protrudes awkwardly from its socket, giving him a somewhat deformed appearance. A man dressed in a black uniform, his identity obscured by a faceless mask adorned with the emblem of a black sun, approaches and kneels respectfully behind the Twi'lek. Lord Gowrlan, our investigations have concluded. Iron Fang Kukin met his end in the Endor system. Currently, there's a colony under development there, reportedly backed by an entity known as the Fourth Group. This muscular Twi'lek is Vigo Cash Gowrlan, one of the 9 Vigos of the Black Sun. Under the leadership of Alexei Garin, he oversees a vast network of illicit operations for the Black Sun, making him one of the most formidable figures in the underworld. Merely mentioning his name is enough to instill fear in countless worlds. Is there any additional information? Gowrlan inquires, taking another bite of his fruit. The only other detail is a large civilian colony ship docked in the Endor system. Beyond that, we have nothing, the subordinate reports. A dark expression crosses Gowrlan's face. A colony and a massive colony ship, you say? It seems my dear brother Kukin has stumbled upon trouble here. Initiate a blockade of the entire Endor system, deploy a jammer near the hyperspace route, and halt all incoming and outgoing vessels. My lord, such actions might provoke the trade union's displeasure, the subordinate cautiously mentions. The hyperspace route near the Endor system is seldom trafficked. Inform the smugglers and bounty hunters in advance. Let them know that the Endor system is under Black Sun's jurisdiction. Gowrlan responds with a sinister chuckle, unfazed by the potential consequences of his orders. Vol 2, Chapter 105, The Negotiator. Tang Xiao stood before a vast blackboard, meticulously pinning countless words with thumbtacks and connecting them with multicolored lines. In one corner of the blackboard, the names Hut Gadura, Black Sun, Planet Naboo, and Bando Gosa were linked by dark lines, all converging towards Coruscant at the heart of the Milky Way. Stroking his chin thoughtfully, Tang Xiao murmured to himself, "The task Black G assigned me involves dismantling one of Bando Gosa's terrorist hideouts. Bando Gosa, they're barely mentioned in the Star Wars narrative. Yet, in this coalition against Kuro Damask II, they're merely pawns. The alliance between Black Sun and Planet Naboo likely concerns the latter's resource exports. King Varuna of Naboo, having ascended to the throne by signing a nearly exploitative trade agreement with the Trade Federation, found himself in dire financial straits due to rampant corruption by the end of his reign. Desperate for new revenue streams, breaking free from the Trade Federation's unfair treaty seemed the most viable solution. Then there's Gadura." Tang Xiao circled Gadura's name, continuing, "Her downfall came from losing to Jabba, with her former supporter Hago now shifting allegiance to Jabba, pushing her towards a final act of desperation. Moreover, Yuri's arms sale to her underlings has only fueled Jabba's wrath. Gadura's situation is undoubtedly more precarious now. These factions are slowly uniting to confront Black Gay Damask II. As for Black G," Tang Xiao circled Black Gay's name, adding, "He's aware of this alliance, but hasn't grasped the full extent of the threat. These adversaries nearly succeeded in killing him. He mustn't die prematurely. Surviving another 3 years remains the optimal outcome. So, where do I begin?" After a moment's contemplation, a hint of resolve flashed across his face, and he decisively removed Gadura's name from the board. "You're the starting point, Gadura. Manager, a shuttle is approaching the Mothership, bearing an identification code from Damask Holdings Group representatives. Notify Gross Shelbia that the Lord's emissaries have arrived," Tang Xiao instructed before exiting the room. He pressed a button, seamlessly blending the door with the surrounding wall. Assisted by his female aide, Tang Xiao donned formal attire en route to the reception area and inquired quived, "Who has arrived?" "No, it's another Moon. We've arranged for a Moon language specialist to assist," the aide responded. Let Gross handle the welcome. Instruct the logistics team to prepare the venue to the highest standards, Tang Xiao directed, stepping into the elevator. The elevator opened to a spacious, brightly lit rotunda. Logistics personnel and chefs were busy arranging an assortment of snacks and refreshments. Translators, clerks, etiquette staff, and think tank members were also in position. Tang Xiao took his place at the head of the room, with two flags positioned behind him, the four-armed galaxy flag of the Fourth Civilization and the Damask Holding Group flag. Through the surveillance feed, Tang Xiao watched as the shuttle landed and a contingent of guards disembarked, led by three elegantly dressed moons. However, upon exiting the spacecraft, they appeared to engage in a heated exchange with Gross, who had gone to greet them. Despite Gross's polite explanations, the moons seemed to utter some harsh words before following him to the elevator and towards the reception area. Tang Xiao's brow furrowed upon witnessing this interaction. Moments later, a tall, slender woman with an air of intellectual beauty, appearing to be in her 30s, entered the room. Tang Xiao stepped aside with impeccable politeness, inviting the trio of moons into the room. The group was led by a figure wielding a cane, exuding an air of arrogance, while his two companions, laden with documents and terminals, appeared to be his assistants. Upon laying eyes on Tang Xiao, the lead moon's demeanor was far from respectful. Instead, he sneered, "Are you the director of this fourth group?" "Yes, I am Tang Xiao," he responded, maintaining his composure. The moon's face contorted with displeasure. "Why didn't you personally come to greet us?" Tang Xiao replied with a disarming smile, "Because you are not King Hago Damask II." "Insolent! How dare a lowly person like you disrespect Lord Hedja?" the moon retorted, yet he proceeded to walk towards a position beside Tang Xiao, adding, "Let's get this over with. Your gift will be charged to my account. It's certainly not inexpensive. Tell me, what is it that you desire? I can give you an estimate. We should expedite this. My time is valuable." He halted mid-stride, a look of confusion crossing his face as if the air before him had solidified, rendering him immobile. "Do you possess a means to communicate with Lord Hedji?" Tang Xiao inquired, his tone indifferent. "Humph. As Lord Hedge's most trusted assistant, of course I have his contact methods," the moon replied, arrogance dripping from every word, his chin lifted in defiance towards Tang Xiao. "Then, please inform Lord Hege that a new representative is required," Tang Xiao stated, a red glint flickering in his eyes. "You're going to," the moon began, but before he could finish, Tang Xiao's hand moved slightly, and an invisible force hoisted the moon into the air. Despite his frantic struggles, Tang Xiao's grip only tightened, the force swirling menacingly around him. The moon's attempts to free himself grew feebler until a sinister click echoed through the room, signaling the abrupt end of his resistance. The room fell into stunned silence, including Gross, who watched in disbelief. Tang Xiao exhaled deeply, turning his attention to the two remaining moon assistants. "Did you catch that?" I said. "We need a change." "You, Lord Hedge, will never forgive this," they stammered, their courage deserting them as they turned to flee, one of them dropping the documents he had been clutching. "Lord Hege won't spare me. No, he should be quite pleased." In fact, the moon's insolence might have been a test orchestrated by Hege himself, Tang Xiao mused, a cold smile playing on his lips. He rose from his seat, addressing Gross. "My apologies, Gross. It seems our plans will need to be delayed slightly." Vol 2, Chapter 106, Admission. Gross had adjusted her mentality and replied with a smile, "It's okay. This is a common occurrence." She picked up the document that the moons had just dropped on the ground, glanced at the contents, and said while shaking the document, "Indeed, it wasn't an exaggeration for you to eliminate all three of them just now, manager." With that, she casually tossed the document onto the moon's body. "Speaking of which, I haven't asked for his name yet," Tang Xiao mentioned, signaling the logistics department to come over and clean up the scene. "I don't think he deserves to have you know his name," Gross replied. Tang Xiao felt a bit puzzled because his perception of the force indicated that the youngest master-level business negotiator didn't seem to harbor much fear. On the contrary, she appeared to be somewhat fascinated by the event. Yes, he was referring to the killing of the moon. "Are you not afraid? I just killed someone right in front of you," Tang Xiao inquired with keen interest. It was just a few uncouth aliens. Eliminating them was necessary. I'm just thinking, you shouldn't have to deal with these matters personally, Gross said, her golden hair shimmering as she smiled. But the forces behind these aliens could easily crush our fourth civilization. Doesn't that concern you? Tang Xiao probed further. It's only a temporary situation, Manager, Gross responded, locking eyes with Tang Xiao. After a few seconds, he waved his hand and said, If that's the case, you're dismissed for now. In the meantime, you'll be temporarily assigned to Clement's team in the administrative department to learn. Okay, then I'll take my leave, Manager, Gross Shelby said, bowing slightly to Tang Xiao before turning to leave. Tang Xiao glanced at the moon corpse on the ground, then instructed the logistics team, dispose of this foul thing in the waste collector. The core of the galaxy, the capital of the Galactic Republic, Coruscant. This planet, roughly the size of Earth, with a diameter of about 12,240 kilometers, is home to representatives from various planets in the Milky Way, personnel from numerous organizations, and entities from all walks of life. A staggering 1 trillion people reside on this planet. The surface of Coruscant, an overexploited planet, has been completely urbanized. Mountains and oceans have been eradicated for development, yet this was not sufficient. Coruscant boasts a multi-layered structure with 5,127 levels, transforming nearly the entire crust of the planet into a city. The lower the level, the more dismal and chaotic it becomes. Conversely, the so-called elite, adorned in fine attire, are privileged to live on the planet's surface, representing the most powerful individuals in the galaxy. A converted priest-class shuttle descended into Coruscant's atmosphere, heading straight for the underworld, eventually docking at a spaceport on the 100th floor. The spacecraft's door opened, and Francis Underwood stepped out, surveying the tightly packed buildings and the sliver of sky above. Soon after, a tall, dignified, middle-aged woman approached and naturally took Underwood's arm. She was Claire Underwood, Francis's wife and most trusted partner. We should be living under the open sky, not in these cramped and filthy depths, Francis remarked, gazing at the sky. The promise made by the young manager seems a bit distant now, Claire commented with a light smile. It won't be long, Francis assured, patting the back of Claire's arm with a meaningful gesture. Doug Stamp, Francis's chief of staff and closest aide, also disembarked from the spacecraft, standing silently behind the Underwoods. 3 T-850s, clad in suits and sunglasses, descended from their vehicle, unloading several large suitcases. Shortly after, Rosanna Goods, the Fourth Group's business representative in Coruscant, approached with a team of assistants. She greeted Francis with a respectful salute, saying, "Hello, Francis. Sir, I'm Rosanna Goods, the commercial representative of the manager in Coruscant." "Ms. Goods, please, call me Frank," Francis responded, shaking her hand firmly. "Let's first address the current situation, what resources we have, and what actions we need to take. We're in the midst of securing a colonial permit and registering the Fourth Group's enterprise. Currently, we possess a residence and a modest office on the 100th floor. Financially, we have around 200,000 Galaxy credit points, with a trust fund set to transfer additional funds, potentially reaching 1 to 2 million credit points," Rosanna explained. "It feels like we're starting from the ground up," Claire remarked, her brow furrowed in concern. Francis offered a reassuring smile. "It's a familiar starting point for me, reminiscent of my days fresh out of the military academy, running for Congress with nothing but ambition. In fact, I find these beginnings rather invigorating." Claire, however, remained uneasy. "Our lack of influence is concerning, not just in Coruscant, but within the Fourth Group as well. The colony's industrial capacity evolves daily. If we fail to keep pace and expand our efforts, I fear the promises made to us will amount to nothing." Francis nodded, his smile turning into a meaningful grin as he highlighted the crux of their challenge. It wasn't just about fulfilling Tang Xiao's promises, but proving their worth and the value they could bring to the table. Understanding the gravity of their situation, Claire sighed softly in agreement. Turning his attention back to Rosanna, Francis stated, "For now, our immediate need is a place to stay. Securing permits might take some time." "Don't worry, Mr. Frank. The manager has instructed me to provide you with full support. Whatever you need, just let us know, Rosanna assured him. She then led Francis and his team to an apartment complex, guiding them into a spacious residence. The T-850s began unpacking, hanging up an array of clothing, notably Claire's collection of evening gowns. Meanwhile, Francis activated his personal terminal, donned his glasses, and began reviewing files. All right, let's get down to business. Claire, the plan you proposed earlier, we can start laying the groundwork now. Where's our first candidate? Rosanna has reported that food production on planet Rhodia is declining, and they're in search of additional food import channels, Claire informed. However, the trade union has seized this opportunity to hike shipping costs by 2%, Doug added, presenting the relevant document. Francis mentioned a name, Eldon, the representative of the Rhodia Planet Import and Export Trading Company in Coruscant. He resides on the 20th floor in the planet's executive residence. Should we approach this under the banner of the fourth group, or? Claire inquired. Francis smiled, a plan clearly forming in his mind. We'll introduce ourselves as a new entity, the Galaxy Outer Ring Planet Mutual Aid Fund. And don't forget, Claire, you're the leading advocate of this foundation. Attachment 1 of the Easter Egg Chapter, Claire Underwood. Attachment 2 of the Easter Egg Chapter, the trio of Francis, Claire, and Doug. Volume 2, Chapter 107, Admission, Part 2. Deep beneath the surface of Coruscant, on the 20th floor of the planetary executive's residential area, Claire sat gracefully on a sofa, facing the Rhodian named Erding, who was seated opposite her. Despite her discomfort at the sight of Erding's seahorse-like appearance, Claire reminded herself that he was a sentient being capable of communication, an alien, yet an intelligent creature just like herself. Mr. Erding, I'm curious about your thoughts on the proposal I just presented, Claire inquired, maintaining her composure. Erding, utilizing his slender mouthparts, took a sip of his drink before responding. Considering we're not acquainted, I'm puzzled as to how you found me. I was informed you came through Mr. Psy, which leaves me uncertain. Can I trust you? Claire offered a slight smile. She herself was in the dark about Mr. Psy's true identity, aware only that Rosanna Goods had mentioned him, and even Rosanna had learned of him through a robot. The mystery deepened. Mr. Psy has connections with us as well. Finding you through him should suffice as a foundation for our cooperation. We aim for a win-win situation, Claire explained. Erding, intrigued, asked, What kind of cooperative projects do you have in mind? I've learned that food production on Rhodia has been declining recently, Claire stated. That's hardly news, Erding remarked dryly. I believe I can offer some assistance, Claire proposed. Erding raised an eyebrow. Oh, and what kind of help might that be? Can you supply us with 1 billion tons of food in a week, or provide enough spaceships for transportation? Such feats are only within the capabilities of the middle ring planets in the Milky Way, Claire admitted. Then you admit there's nothing you can do? Erding pressed. On the contrary, that's precisely why I'm here. Many planets in the outer ring are impoverished and underdeveloped. Without the Galactic Republic's expansion, they wouldn't have entered the interstellar age, lacking industrial and technological capabilities, Claire explained. Yet, that doesn't solve the issue of feeding our planet, Erding pointed out. True, one planet alone cannot, but what about 2, 3, 4, or even hundreds of planets working together? There are planets with terrains and climates ideal for agriculture, and others rich in minerals perfect for industrial development. I propose creating an outer ring planet mutual aid fund. This way, the less developed planets can support each other when the Republic cannot, Claire suggested. Erding remained skeptical. I don't know you, nor do I believe you have such influence. I understand that due to cultural tendencies and the ravages of war, agricultural production on Rhodia has nearly halted. My proposal includes finding professional experts and technicians to help Rhodia establish a large-scale, fully enclosed hydroponics farm. We can provide the expertise and consultation, but the construction must be managed locally, Claire elaborated. Erding took a moment, his large, lidless eyes fixed on Claire as he leaned back. Please understand, we lack the resources to do everything for you, including supplying 1 billion tons of food or numerous spaceships. However, we can set an example of mutual assistance, Claire continued. And what do you seek in return? Erding inquired. Influence, Claire replied with a smile. Our cooperation could demonstrate that even as individual, underdeveloped planets, we can achieve great things together. With a strong enough voice, we might even influence the Galactic Council, encouraging the more developed inner ring and core planets to offer their support. Erding considered her words, his expression unreadable. What about the trade unions? They'll surely increase shipping costs, he finally said. Our current strength is insufficient to compete with the trade alliance. But Claire's smile turned meaningful, hinting at broader plans yet to be revealed. Well, your proposal is indeed not bad. Although our capabilities are somewhat limited, let me see what we can do for you. The condition, however, is that you commit to establishing a large hydroponic farm, the representative said thoughtfully. Mr. Sai will make the necessary arrangements soon, Claire responded with a reassuring smile. Very well. Once I meet your experts, I will introduce you to the representatives from our planet Rhodia. This mutual aid fund is essentially a charitable endeavor, Doug Stump explained while seated in the residence. Mutual aid is indeed a form of charity work. Believe me, Claire excels in this area, Francis added, not looking up from the document he was examining. In this democratic galactic republic, nothing resonates more powerfully than supporting the underprivileged. The voices of the outer ring planets can quickly amass influence. Even if it's merely a facade, the more developed planets are compelled to support this cause due to political correctness. You didn't actually believe this mutual aid foundation would succeed, did you? Doug asked with a smile. Truthfully, the likelihood of failure far exceeds that of success, especially if the managers accurately predict the future dynamics of the galaxy. But what of failure? All I need is a figure with substantial influence. A character, a democratic champion who advocates for the downtrodden, Claire Underwood. And what about us? Underwood inquired, swiftly jotting down a name and address on a piece of paper and handing it to Doug. Seek out this man, assuming he hasn't succumbed to starvation. He's a member of the Galactic Republic Transportation Authority, a regional office director who was scapegoated for offending the trade unions. All right, I'll locate him immediately. So, are we planning to assist him in clearing his name? Doug asked. No, what are you implying? His rehabilitation and exoneration are his own concerns. How does that relate to us? What I require are the opportunities that his situation may unlock for us, Underwood clarified. Okay, but you could at least share your thoughts with me, Doug pressed. Underwood wrote down 2 more notes and handed them over. The first opportunity involves the Coruscant Observer electronic daily. Their editor-in-chief is a fervent critic of the trade union's monopoly. Can you imagine the story? A Republic official, living on the streets and resorting to desperate measures to seek retribution for the union's conspiracy? The narrative is compelling. The second opportunity lies with the head of the Coruscant Sheriff's Office, within our current jurisdiction. Inform him that there will be trouble, but it's best to wait until after the disturbance to do so. Vol 2, Chapter 108, Developments Everywhere. Doug asked, and then what? Then, it's our job. Your first step is to confirm whether this person is truly planning to protest against the trade union in extreme ways, was the response. Doug glanced at the note and said, So, you're saying that this, Granite of Cortez, is as good as executed. It's a necessary step, Doug. This man's life was already forfeit, but by giving him a chance to strike at the trade union again, I believe we're doing a good deed, Francis explained as he stood and adjusted his suit. Politics is like playing chess. Do you know the first step in chess? Placing a piece? Doug guessed. No, it's stepping into the arena, Francis corrected with a smile. He then turned and left the room, accompanied by a T-850. In the outer reaches of the Milky Way, within the Ondor galaxy, a white light flashed across the dark expanse of space, heralding the arrival of a massive battleship. The 825-meter-long vessel came to a halt approximately 10,000 kilometers from the Glory Mothership. Manager, a Generosity-class frigate has just arrived in our galaxy and is requesting communication, Chijian reported. At the same time, Carls Wharton, now the deputy commander of the Supreme Combat Command, also sent a message. Manager, I've readied Zavarov for combat, and 3 squadrons of ghost fighters are on standby, ready to launch at any moment. There's no need for them to take off. Let them stand by. The visitor this time is an ally, Tang Xiao responded with a smile. Master, please have Gross Shelbia prepare for the reception. Understood, manager. Additionally, there is a request for public frequency communication. Would you like me to connect it? Came the reply. Bring it through, Tang Xiao instructed. The holographic projection flickered to life, displaying the image of a moon. The figure bowed politely before speaking. Greetings, Your Excellency Tang Xiao. I am here on behalf of Lord Blackjay, representing the Damask Holding Group. We wish to initiate a series of cooperative negotiations with you. Welcome. I'm confident we can achieve a mutually beneficial outcome. I've arranged for a dinner party in the living room where we can discuss matters at leisure. Tang Xiao said, welcoming the representative with a warm smile. In the inner slums of Mos Esper on Tatooine, a robotic voice announced, main power supply restored, exiting sleep mode, sensor damage detected at 27%, power unit operating at 52%, system self-check complete, database integrity at 21%, attempting Homestar contact, failed, learning restriction system deactivated. Assessing surroundings, the robot's red electronic eyes flickered, adjusting focus until a small, brown-haired boy came into clear view. Finally activated. Great. Can you hear me? The boy asked. Sensors operational. I can hear you. Language identified. Galactic Standard. The robot responded in a tone that, while mechanical, closely resembled human speech. I found you on the battlefield. Your power unit was nearly destroyed, so I replaced it with another core from the junkyard, the boy explained. Energy supply at 62%, operating within normal parameters, the robot confirmed. Great, the boy sighed in relief. I'm not yet skilled in programming, or rather, I don't understand your programming language, so I couldn't write any code. Where do you come from? Are you a threat? The robot, its head adorned with a skull-like design, moved to examine its arm, which was now fitted with a mismatched mechanical limb ending in a pair of pliers. I originate from the planet Dawn. Dawn planet? I've never heard of it. Is it far from Tatooine? The boy inquired. You repaired me, the robot observed, acknowledging the boy's handiwork. Yes, because, well, your mechanical structure is unlike anything I've seen before. That's why I brought you back, the boy admitted, revealing his fascination with the robot's advanced design. Why did you come to Tatooine? Anakin Skywalker asked with a hint of worry in his voice. The database is missing, and I cannot retrieve the answer, the robot replied, its head rotating 360 degrees to survey the surroundings before adding, not for now. A naive smile spread across Anakin's face. Great, my name is Anakin Skywalker. Let's be friends in the future. Friends? The robot's electronic eyes flickered, processing the concept. Yes, friends who help each other. By the way, what's your name? Anakin inquired, his curiosity piqued. After a brief pause and another glance around, the robot looked at a stone outside the door and responded, Rock Johnson. Oh, your name is Rock Johnson? That's a cool name. It's the first time I've seen a robot with a human name. I thought you were going to give me a number. My number is not suitable for human use. From now on, I'm Rock Johnson, your friend, Anakin Skywalker. On the planet Celia, Yuri Orlov and his brother Vitaly disembarked from their spacecraft. The hatch opened, and two T-850s began unloading a vast quantity of weapons and ammunition, stacking them into a small mountain. Yuri approached a grotesque alien whose mouth drooped down to his stomach and who leaned on a cane. With a grin, Yuri announced, My dear Yvette Mon, look what I've brought you. A full 100 EE-3 blaster rifles, 300 Type 21 assault rifles, and 100,000 rounds of ammunition. Ha! Yvette Mon, a bizarre amalgamation of a hippo, an elephant, and other creatures, exuded a certain level of repulsiveness. His voice, deep and slow, resonated like a super bass. Very good, but I still need more weapons. No problem, I'll bring you even more powerful weapons, Yuri replied cheerfully. But, Yvette Mon interjected, waving his hand. A dozen Gamo mercenaries approached. He continued in a menacing tone, I've heard that the group who attacked Jabba and Tatooine used live weapons. As you know, live weapons are quite rare these days. Yuri took a deep drag from his cigar, then replied with calm assurance. I'm a businessman. My job is to sell, regardless of the use. I have many channels, and I can't track where all the goods end up, especially in the Outer Rim, where there's a constant demand for all kinds of weapons. Attachment 1 of the Easter egg chapter, Underworld Boss Yvetmon. Vol 2, Chapter 109, New Toys. Yvonne Meng stepped forward, his immense and grotesque head nearly colliding with Yuri's nose. In light of your willingness to sell your weapons to me, I can overlook our past disagreements. However, you must ensure that Ghidorah never receives a single bullet from you again. You're putting me in a difficult position, Mr. Yvonne. Once again, I must emphasize that I am a businessman. My primary concerns are sales and profits. I have no interest in, nor can I control, the conflicts that arise from these transactions, Yuri responded. If you can assure me of this, I will increase my orders. I have several other planets in need of armaments due to unrest. So, it doesn't matter who buys the weapons, right? But if I see anyone on Tatooine using your weapons against Jabba, then... Yvonne Meng menacingly grabbed an axe from one of his subordinates and slammed it into the ground in front of him. Yuri shrugged. It seems I need to revise my client list. In the Endor galaxy, within the southern hemisphere desert of the Dawn planet, a unique phenomenon occurs. Due to a special groundwater network, deserts are a rarity on Dawn. Yet there exists a vast desert spanning approximately 100,000 square kilometers, formed by an obstruction in this network. At this moment, a serpentine trail of sand and dust surged across the expansive desert at incredible speed, moving from one horizon to the other in nearly an instant. In a makeshift laboratory, Tang Xiao observed the swiftly moving dust trail through a telescope, a look of satisfaction spreading across his face. Soon, the dust trail approached the laboratory, revealing itself to be an off-road vehicle that executed a perfect drift to a stop. The vehicle, with its fully enclosed armored body painted in desert khaki, measured 12 meters in length. Its robust, electronically controlled suspension system was designed to handle any terrain, while its semi-steel, bulletproof tires could withstand large-caliber bullets. Mounted atop the vehicle was a double-barreled 6-barrel remote-controlled cannon, boasting formidable firepower. As the hatch opened, 3 helmeted drivers emerged. Technicians quickly approached to check the sensors on them, gather body feedback data, and retrieve the vehicle's recorder to analyze the driving data. 21. Pathfinder-type light attack vehicle, Shewon announced, approaching Tang Xiao. She was impeccably dressed, her presence commanding attention. Thank you for dedicating your time to this project amidst your busy schedule, Tang Xiao said, his gaze lingering on Shewon's figure. Shewon, pleased with Tang Xiao's attention, brushed her hair aside. The credit goes to you, manager. With sufficient manpower and facilities, tackling such technological projects isn't challenging, especially with all the data readily available. She then gazed out at the vast desert. I'm curious, though, why the sudden interest in developing desert combat equipment? Tang Xiao offered a mysterious smile. We must prepare for desert warfare. Once testing is complete, pass the prototype to the engineering and production department. There's no need to adjust the production line. The Mothership's facilities can produce 10 vehicles. Understood. I'll make the arrangements, Shewon replied, a hint of shyness in her eyes. Since I've helped you work overtime, how do you plan to thank me? Perhaps you could invite me to. Before she could finish, Tang Xiao had already turned and walked away, seemingly oblivious to her suggestion. Tang Xiao continued with his plans. Gross. How are the negotiations with the Damask Holding Group progressing? Prepare a report for me. Next, I'll visit the engineering department to inspect the restoration of the first-class cruiser. Also, make arrangements immediately. Shewon gave a wry smile as he watched Tang Xiao's busy figure. Turning around, he picked up a wrench, tapped it on the table, and announced loudly, Okay, the test is over. Clean up, everyone. The manager has promised us a grand meal. Next, plenty of beer included. The surrounding technicians erupted into cheers, their enthusiasm filling the air. Meanwhile, Tang Xiao boarded the transport ship back to the Glory's mothership. Upon his arrival, the mainbrain's voice informed him, Manager, there's an issue with Master Captain Gabriel Tosh's wake-up medical examination. His blood pressure is significantly low, necessitating further review in the medical department. This may delay things by 1 to 2 hours. Gross Shelby is currently waiting in your office. Acknowledging the message, Tang Xiao made his way to his office, where he found Gross Shelby, a 29-year-old master negotiator of Jewish descent, already waiting. She was a striking figure, her professionalism matched only by her beauty. Without hesitation, Tang Xiao took his seat and inquired, "Have the representatives from the Damask Holding Group departed?" "Yes, we've reached a preliminary agreement," Shelby responded. She approached Tang Xiao, bending slightly to place a document on his desk. As she did so, a strand of her golden hair brushed against Tang Xiao's face, a sensation both ticklish and smooth. Despite the distraction, Tang Xiao's focus remained on the document before him, which detailed the cooperation agreement between Shelby, representing the Fourth Civilization, and the Damask Holding Group. Shelby tucked her hair behind her ear and began to outline the terms of the agreement. "We've set forth 5 key demands for this cooperation. First, the introduction of robotic labor. Second, the acquisition of large transport spaceships. Third, the establishment of hyperspace communication nodes to connect with the galaxy's holographic network and the interstellar financial information network of the Banking Association. Fourth, assistance in constructing planetary-scale mining facilities and large processing plants. Lastly, the installation of planetary shields." Tang Xiao listened intently, his eyes scanning the document. Shelby continued, "The Damask Holding Group outright rejected the 5th demand, citing excessive costs and the potential perception of preparing for war as their main concerns. As for the large transport ships, they showed little interest, not due to financial reasons, but rather the potential backlash from trade unions concerned about exporting large cargo ships." "I'm not surprised," Tang Xiao remarked dryly. "After all, the trade alliance's origins are deeply rooted in logistics and freight services. What about the other demands?" As the discussion progressed, it was clear that the negotiations had been complex, with each party carefully weighing their interests against potential concessions. The document on Tang Xiao's desk was not just a simple agreement, but a testament to the intricate dance of interstellar diplomacy and commerce. Attachment 1 of the Easter egg chapter, 21, Pathfinder Light Attack Vehicle from Homeworld, Desert of Karak. Vol 2, Chapter 110, Terms of Cooperation. Shelby explained, "There are no obstacles to establishing hyperspace communication nodes. In fact, the reason their representatives brought a Generosity-class frigate here is twofold: to demonstrate power and for convenience. Each Generosity-class frigate is equipped with hyperspace communication nodes, and it's these frigates that maintain the financial information network of the Interstellar Banking Association." Tang Xiao furrowed his brows. "So, what's their angle? Do they intend to leave this Generosity-class frigate in our galaxy?" Shelby replied with a wry smile, "Their proposal is for us to lease the warship. However, the crew must remain theirs. We would only be able to suggest actions for the warship, and it cannot leave the galaxy. Should it exit the Endor galaxy, we would have no authority over any of its actions." "And the lease?" Tang Xiao inquired. "The standard annual lease is 2 million credits, with additional costs for wear and tear in the event of a battle," Shelby answered. "What's your take on this?" Tang Xiao asked. "Rejecting it is a given, but I suspect there's a deeper motive behind their proposal," Shelby said, shifting to a more comfortable position, inadvertently making it easier for Tang Xiao to observe her. Realizing Tang Xiao's gaze wasn't on her, she continued more seriously, "They mentioned that the Milky Way is fraught with danger. Rejecting their proposal, according to them, would mean we should be prepared to face these dangers ourselves, as if they know something we don't." Tang Xiao smiled lightly. "Don't worry about it. Their terms are clearly a form of extortion. Just refuse." "That's settled then. As for the hyperspace communication network, that will proceed. Now, regarding the importation of robots, they're quite eager. We initially wanted to introduce 1 million robots, but they're pushing for 10 million, all B1 models." "And what do they want in return?" Tang Xiao pressed. Shelby sighed. "Their final proposal involves a capacity mortgage. Damask Holding Group has offered to help us build a planetary-scale mining base, a large parts processing plant, and a robot factory. However, once these facilities are operational, we must allocate 30% of the annual production capacity for the first 5 years to Damask Holding Group." "Could you elaborate?" Tang Xiao asked. "Essentially, 30% of the mining base's production capacity is theirs. Once the parts processing plant and robot factory are completed, we must fulfill orders amounting to 30% of the factory's capacities annually, free of charge. This 30% might seem straightforward, but the actual production and capacity figures are vague. It seems they're aiming to exploit our resources. Anything else? Tang Xiao inquired. They also want to purchase 30% of the shares in the fourth group, Shelby added, shaking her head. We're not publicly listed, and the concept of such economic mechanisms doesn't exist in the Galactic Republic. But still, Tang Xiao smiled slightly. Agree to their terms. They can have 30% of the shares, but decision-making power remains with us. They must also support all our investment plans. Shelby couldn't hide her confusion. But considering our current development trajectory, this seems like a disadvantageous deal for us. Tang Xiao remained calm. It doesn't matter. The fourth group is not synonymous with the fourth civilization. Besides, I have my own plans for dealing with Damask Holding Group. In the midst of a crucial meeting, Tang Xiao emphasized the importance of their collaboration with the Damask Holding Group, attributing its necessity to political factors above all else. He made it clear that the specifics of their agreement, including the contentious issue of a 30% stake, were secondary to the trust and cooperation between them and Black Go Damask II. Despite the potential personal connections, business pragmatism prevailed. Tang Xiao's recent apprenticeship did not afford him any special treatment in these negotiations. The stakes of the game between Tang Xiao and Black Go, also known as Darth Plagueis, were high, involving life and death. Tang Xiao was aware that any hint of his plans against Darth Plagueis could lead to immediate and total annihilation by the Interstellar Banking Association's fleet. However, success in his endeavors could significantly increase his control over the Damask Holding Group, potentially offering him even more than the disputed 30% of shares. After Tang Xiao made his decision clear, Gross Shelby, acknowledging the gravity of their mission to advance the Fourth Civilization's interests by any means necessary, agreed to convey his decision to the Damask Holding Group. Once alone, Tang Xiao sought the counsel of his hidden advisor, Simid, a Moon financial expert, through a concealed monitoring system. Simid expressed his concerns about the risks of Tang Xiao's aggressive strategy, fearing that Black Go Damask II's ultimate goal was to engulf them entirely. Tang Xiao, probing for Simid's personal motivations, inquired if he harbored desires for revenge against Black Go Damask II for past betrayals. Simad, reflecting on his dashed hopes in the betrayal that led to his downfall, confirmed his desire for vengeance. Despite the dire circumstances of his escape, Tang Xiao hinted at the improbability of Simid's survival without assistance, suggesting deeper layers of intrigue and alliances yet to be revealed. This conversation not only highlighted the complex web of alliances and betrayals, but also set the stage for Tang Xiao's ambitious plans, with the undercurrents of personal vendettas adding a layer of depth to the unfolding interstellar drama. Vol 2, Chapter 111, What I Want. Saymed sighed deeply. At that time, I was cornered, and surrendering to the Tonis family felt like another dead end. I believed that aligning with Black Go might at least offer me a chance of survival. I hoped his connections would obstruct the Tonis family's pursuit, allowing me a sliver of hope to escape. A sneer formed on Tang Xiao's lips. Placing your fate in the hands of someone like Heige, it's no surprise how things turned out for you. Saymed fell into silence once more, while Tang Xiao waited with patience. After a few minutes, Saymed spoke with a heavy tone. Mr. Manager, I seek revenge. Are you certain? Tang Xiao's sneer grew more pronounced. Absolutely. Black Gi robbed me of everything. I was once on the verge of becoming the co-chairman of the Interstellar Banking Association, but after being ensnared by his deceit, I lost it all. I want revenge. I want to kill him. Kill Krogo Damask too. Saymed exclaimed with fervor. What's your last name? Tang Xiao inquired abruptly. My last name. Saymed hesitated but eventually disclosed. My surname is Tony. Saymed Tonys. Ford Tonys, the current co-chairman of the Interstellar Banking Association, is my uncle. Tang Xiao pondered, looking towards the camera. With his surname, someone from the Tonys family in such a high position could indeed gather evidence against them. He stated slowly, I will kill Black Gi Damask II for you. What did you say? Seamed stammered in disbelief. I mean exactly what I said, and I won't repeat myself. Mr. Manager, Now, I have another identity as a disciple of Black Godamask too. Will you kill me? I've already stated my intentions, and I won't say them again. What do you need me to do? No, I'll do anything, as long as Black G is dead. How to proceed is for me to decide. What you need to consider is something else. Please tell me. I want the Damask Holding Group. There was a noticeable stir on Samed's end. After Hyga's demise, I want control over the entire Damask Holding Group. It will be mine. Can you make that happen? Tang Xiao asked earnestly. Seamed took a deep breath before asking, How much time do we have? 3 years, possibly less, Tang Xiao responded. So, that's why you had the Fourth Group sign an agreement with Damask Holding Group instead of the Interstellar Banking Association, and why you volunteered to become a disciple of Black G? You've been planning this all along? I'm only asking if you can deliver. Seamed fell silent once more, and after a lengthy pause he affirmed with certainty, I can do it, but I have one condition. You're not in a position to negotiate terms with me, Tang Xiao retorted coldly. No, even if it means giving up my chance for revenge, I must say this. If there comes a day, I wish to step forward and become the vice chairman of Damask Holding Group, Seamed declared loudly. Is that what you desire? To step into the limelight? Tang Xiao asked. I want everyone to see. Abandoning me was the Interstellar Banking Association's gravest mistake. Samed's voice carried a hint of malice. Very well, I agree to your terms. I will dedicate my life to expressing my gratitude, Mr. Manager. By the way, is your last name Xiao? Seamed inquired suddenly. My surname is Tang, Tang Xiao corrected. Do I have the honor of becoming a member of the Tang family? I would like to offer my utmost respect and loyalty to this name. Seamed proposed. Yes, but earning this privilege requires securing the Damask Holding Group for me, Tang Xiao stated. Rest assured, Mr. Manager, I will begin preparations immediately. Once He is dead, I will personally deliver the Damask Holding Group to you. Samed's voice turned ominously determined. Tang Xiao nodded in acknowledgement, understanding the gravity of the commitment made. Tang Xiao ceased his conversation and stood up, leaving the office behind him. A roar echoed from within, a sound that could have stemmed from anger, a need to veil, or perhaps the anticipation of revenge. Manager, Gabriel Tosh has successfully completed his medical examination and is currently awaiting you in the living room, announced an assistant. Let's go meet our master-level captain. Tang Xiao responded with a nod. Upon entering the living room, he was greeted by an elderly man with a beard, who promptly stood and saluted. Hello, Manager. I'm Gabriel Tosh. It's a pleasure to finally meet you, he said with a hearty laugh, signaling his readiness to embark on a new journey. Gabriel Tosh, a distinguished graduate from the Royal Naval Academy, later served as the head of the production department at Dune Heavy Industries. He holds a cruiser captain's license and has piloted a wide range of warships, from fighter jets to cruisers. Your experience is indeed vast, Tang Xiao remarked with a smile. Haha, those days are behind me. We've been in hibernation for far too long, and I've forgotten much. It's time for a fresh start, Tosh replied. I happen to have a cruiser in need of an experienced captain. Would you be interested in taking the helm? Tang Xiao inquired. Manager, as you can see, I'm not as young as I used to be. Excluding the years spent in hibernation, I'm 53. I'd prefer to stick to logistics work. Commanding a ship is beyond me now, Tosh said, patting his belly for emphasis. Tang Xiao rubbed his temples, contemplating his options. The tasks he had in mind for the Hammerhead-class cruiser required a captain of exceptional skill, and despite Tosh's reluctance, his experience made him a prime candidate. However, Tosh had initially applied for a position within the production management department, not as a captain. We're at a crucial stage of development, and the plans I have in mind require someone of your expertise at the helm, Tang Xiao explained. What mission are you proposing? Tosh asked, wary. To become an interstellar pirate, Tang Xiao revealed. No, that's not acceptable. I am not a pirate, Tosh protested, shaking his head vehemently. Don't worry, your official title will be Deputy Director of Logistics and Production Management. You'll oversee the construction of our Vengeance-class light destroyer. Once our partnership with the Damask Holdings Group commences, you'll manage the operations of our planetary mining base, Tang Xiao clarified, outlining a role that leveraged Tosh's experience while addressing his concerns. Vol 2, Chapter 112, Null Pirate. Tosh nodded. Ah, that's fine. I have over 10 years of experience in production management and mining, he said confidently. However, Tang Xiao interjected, shifting the direction of the conversation, at this stage, your role will be somewhat remote. You will hold the title of captain for the cruiser Iron Fang, but you won't be directly commanding it. I'll appoint an elite-level vice captain for you. He's an interstellar pirate, well-versed in all combat operations. Your role will be to offer advice when necessary. Tosh let out a sigh, a hint of resignation in his voice. Do I have any other options? Unfortunately, no, but I assure you, within 3 years, you'll transition from this cruiser to focus solely on logistics and production, Tang Xiao promised. But I have reservations about becoming a pirate. It seems perilously dangerous. Tosh's reluctance was palpable. Why don't you consider putting me back into hibernation? He suggested, seeking an escape. Tang Xiao was quick to reassure him. Don't worry. Although this involves piracy, the risk is minimal. Our main objective is to assist a gangster in combat and mop up any remnants. It's relatively safe. Tosh remained hesitant, his concerns not entirely alleviated. Tang Xiao approached him, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. Listen, Mr. Tosh, the development of the fourth civilization is advancing rapidly, with groundbreaking changes occurring daily. We're planning to introduce 10 million robots as laborers. In such a dynamic environment, the demand for talent evolves swiftly. At 53, adapting to new technologies might be challenging for you. Leveraging your experience to build up your work credentials now could position you for a more pivotal role later. After a moment of contemplation, Tosh looked up. Are you certain it's safe? Absolutely, Tang Xiao affirmed with confidence. All right then, may I meet my deputy captain? Tosh finally conceded. Of course, Master Chief, summon Buka and his crew, Tang Xiao commanded. Shortly after, the office doors swung open, and a group of figures entered. Tosh recoiled in shock, taking a step back at the sight before him. These were not humans, but aliens. They were slender, with elongated, reverse-jointed legs, 3-fingered hands and feet tipped with razor-sharp claws. Their mouths jutted forward, resembling bird beaks filled with fangs, giving them an appearance akin to ancient bird-like dinosaurs. What is this? Tosh stammered, his voice laced with fear. Although he had encountered aliens before, none had been as intimidating as these. Manager, this is Buka. Where's the payment you promised? Murder and kill, Guga! The leader of the aliens, his skin dark and covered in scales, looked particularly menacing as he shouted at Tang Xiao. Tang Xiao regarded the group of aliens with a steely gaze, taking a moment before responding. These were Kigyar, known as Porosus latrunculus, which translates to hateful robber. A species from the Halo universe, they were notorious for their ferocity and cunning. Serving as assaulters and snipers within the Covenant army, their predatory instincts endowed them with exceptional perception and vision. With proper training, they could become formidable adversaries on the battlefield, even capable of piloting fighter jets with surprising adeptness. However, their wild, untamed nature, coupled with a propensity for violence, made them ill-suited for regular military service. Employing them as pirates, on the other hand, seemed an ideal use of their talents. Moreover, their expendability was a grim yet practical consideration. Tang Xiao had previously noted the presence of various non-human races among those in hibernation, but the Kigyar were Queethling. In the depths of the Mothership's cryogenic chambers, a diverse collection of individuals and genetic samples lay dormant. Among them, a group of 50 gnolls, with only one, Buka, distinguished as elite due to his relatively normal intelligence. The rest were essentially a band of aggressive fighters and eccentrics. Yet their inclusion in the Mothership's hibernation roster indicated they were considered the elite of their kind, showcasing the inherent potential of their race. Tang Xiao surmised that the creators of the Mothership had utilitarian motives for including them, to utilize their capabilities for unsavory tasks and then discard them when no longer needed. Deciding to awaken them, Tang Xiao set simple criteria for their reawakening: the ability to engage in combat and plunder. Initially, the gnolls displayed a manic demeanor, but a stern glance from Tang Xiao quickly subdued them. He then appointed Tosh as their commander, demanding their unconditional obedience. Buka, however, openly rejected the idea of following a human commander. In response, Tang Xiao demonstrated his power by telekinetically lifting Buka and forcefully throwing him against a door. Buka's subsequent fear-filled gaze towards Tang Xiao marked a turning point, and upon his submission, the other gnolls followed suit, signaling their surrender. Tang Xiao outlined their mission: to accompany the Iron Teeth cruiser to Tatooine with the primary objective of seizing Hut Ghidorah's spaceship, among other targets. He assured them that the necessary identification codes would be stored in the cruiser's mainframe. Buka, now respectful, agreed and departed with his companions. Tosh, however, expressed his reservations about working alongside such a ruthless alien group. Tang Xiao reassured him, explaining that the human crew on the cruiser would handle standard operations while the gnolls were tasked with the more nefarious activities. Tosh's role would be to assist in managing the construction of Vengeance-class light destroyers and to provide strategic guidance when necessary, ensuring the gnolls' compliance. Tosh reluctantly agreed to the arrangement, albeit with reservations about the physical and moral toll it might take on him. Attachment 1 of the Easter egg chapter, Halo, Covenant member, Null. Of cargo ships, all adorned with the Black Sun logo. It seems our refusal has led them to take more drastic measures. Gross Shelby's expression hardened. It appears we've underestimated the lengths to which Damask Holding Group is willing to go. But why would they align themselves with the Black Sun? Tang Xiao tapped his fingers on the armrest thoughtfully. It's not just about the rental of the frigate. It's a show of power, a demonstration that they can disrupt our operations at will. They're sending a message. At that moment, Professor Qi Jianjun and his team entered the bridge, their expressions serious. Tang Xiao addressed them. Professor, I need your expertise. We're facing an imminent attack from a fleet marked with the Black Sun insignia. I want to know if there's a way to counter their blockers and make a hyperspace jump. Professor Qi Jianjun nodded, his mind already racing with possibilities. We'll need to analyze the specifics of their technology, but I believe we can devise a countermeasure. As the team set to work, Tang Xiao turned his attention back to the tactical situation. Qijian, what's the status of our defenses? Qijian, who had been coordinating with the defense teams, replied, We're ready, Manager. All defensive systems are online, and our fighters are prepared to launch at your command. Tang Xiao nodded, his gaze fixed on the looming threat displayed on the light screen. Let's not wait for them to make the first move. Launch our fighters, and let's give the Black Sun a taste of their own medicine. The bridge buzzed with activity as orders were relayed. Tang Xiao remained calm and collected, his mind clear. He understood the stakes and the importance of repelling this attack. Not just for the safety of their ship and crew, but to send a clear message back to Damask Holding Group and the Black Sun. They were not to be trifled with. As the first of their fighters streaked out into space, Tang Xiao couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Despite the odds, they were ready to stand their ground. The battle for the Endor galaxy was about to begin, and they were determined to emerge victorious. In the vast expanse of space, the presence of spaceships often signifies a myriad of stories, each vessel bearing the marks of its unique journey. Among these, a particular group of spaceships stood out, not just for their appearance, but for the power they represented. So you're suggesting that the Generosity-class frigate, representing their interests, is awaiting our update in a nearby galaxy? Shelby inquired, seeking clarification. Tang Xiao responded with a hint of amusement. Indeed, and they won't have to wait more than 3 seconds. Gross, understanding the gravity of the situation, straightened his posture and stood attentively behind Tang Xiao. Tang Xiao, gazing at the screen before him, spoke with deliberate slowness. Both politics and business negotiations demand leverage, and beyond mere financial assets, strength plays a crucial role as a bargaining chip. What you're witnessing today are the assets I bring to the table. The extent of our victory will be determined by my skill, Gross Shelby replied, a smile playing on his lips. On the screen, the massive hangar doors of the Glory Mothership opened, revealing a pale blue energy barrier that separated the vacuum of space from the ship's interior. 36 ghost fighters emerged from the hangar, their landing gear retracted and wings folded into an M shape as they swiftly formed a claw-shaped combat formation. They darted towards the outer edge of the Endor galaxy's gravity well, equipped with additional boosters for rapid approach towards the Corsair fleet lurking at the gravitational boundary. Following closely, 12 Hammer-class frigates made their exit. These frigates had undergone significant modifications, replacing their original electromagnetic rapid-fire turrets with dual-mounted plasma bomb launchers, a strategic choice aimed at countering shield defenses. Minutes later, another squadron of 12 Gigay Ost fighters launched, but their flight was erratic, lacking any semblance of formation. The commotion over the communication channels revealed the pilots to be gnolls, leading to a cacophony of shouts and curses. Tang Xiao, with a sneer, turned off the communication from Buka, restoring silence to the channel. "The enemy will be engaged in 15 minutes, announced a ghost fighter pilot, his voice cutting through the quiet. The crew members ceased their chatter, their attention riveted to the optical and radar feeds displayed on the screen. This marked the ghost fighter's first real combat test since its introduction, a moment of significant anticipation. Tang Xiao's strategy was clear. This engagement would set the tone for the Fourth Civilization's future collaboration with the Damask Holding Group, focusing on industrial, agricultural, and economic development. The performance of the ghost fighters in this encounter was crucial, as it would directly influence the allocation of resources to the Fourth Civilization. In the context of Starcraft, this was akin to the strategic choice between a conservative start and a more aggressive, resource-heavy approach, with far-reaching implications for future combat capabilities. Success or failure hinged on this pivotal moment. Attachment 1 of the Easter egg chapter, CR-70 Light Frigate. Character renaming notice. Gabriel Tosh, previously a master-level captain and a significant character contributed by a reader, shared a name with a character from Starcraft. To avoid confusion after consultation, the name has been changed to Volgograd Kanedi. Vol 2, Chapter 114, I Am the Disaster. With only 10 minutes remaining until the enemy's assault, a voice crackled through the communication system. At that moment, more than a dozen spaceships were already in formation, poised for battle. They were arranged in a circular pattern with the CR-70 frigate at its core, seemingly ready to leverage the formidable firepower of the CR-70 to obliterate the incoming Ghost Fighter squadron in one decisive strike. Despite the modest size of this Black Sun formation, which featured the 120-meter-long CR-70 frigate as its largest vessel, it boasted a firepower far superior to that of the Hammerhead-class cruiser of the Iron Fang Kukan. In a head-to-head comparison, the Iron Fang Kukan cruiser would likely find itself swiftly dismantled by this fleet. The diverse array of large and small spaceships, with their dispersed firepower, proved to be significantly more effective against the fighter group than the Hammerhead-class cruiser, which was equipped with only 8 close-in defense guns, 6 of which were later modifications and had all been destroyed. There are 5 minutes until the enemy attacks. Tang Xiao stood, his expression grave as he picked up the communication microphone. 4 months ago, 3 pirate spaceships approached the vicinity of Dawn Planet, and we were powerless to resist. After 3 wars of natural disasters, we are now preparing for the 4th. It's a disgrace for us as we rebuild our homes. We once swore to conquer all our enemies and to never yield. Not even death can deter us. Warriors, let us use the blood of these pirates to forge our glory. Remember, I am a disaster. His words seemed to carry an incredible power, resonating deep within the hearts of those who heard them. The pilots rushing into battle had their eyes ablaze with determination, shouting in unison through the communication system, I am a natural disaster. The 48 Ghost Fighters sliced through the battlefield like lightning, and in an instant, the space was filled with a barrage of lasers and explosive beams. The Null-piloted Ghost Fighters were the first to arrive, activating their boosters and plunging into the Black Sun Fleet's formation before unleashing their fury. Buka and the Nulls emitted a series of harsh, croaking sounds as they launched their attack with a ferocity bordering on madness. These gnolls didn't bother with tactics. As they entered the fray, they fired all 20 Gemini missiles carried by each ghost fighter. Explosions erupted across the enemy's spaceships, and although most were deflected by the shields, the assault was relentless. Following the missiles, blue laser beams swept across the Black Sun fleet's shields, causing energy ripples to cascade across their surfaces. The Fourth Civilization had now fully equipped its forces with blue laser weapons, a significant upgrade from the outdated red laser weapons, marking a true advancement in battlefield technology. The Black Sun ships maintained their formation, their pilots demonstrating well-trained composure in the face of the gnolls' onslaught. The ship's turrets spun and aimed, unleashing deadly turbolasers and blasters. The CR-70 frigate, with its 4 single-barreled point-defense turbolaser turrets located above the bulky engine compartment, provided continuous cover fire, limiting the Ghost Fighters' maneuverability. However, the Ghost Fighters showcased exceptional performance, with their explosive acceleration and tight turning radius setting them apart. The gnolls' sharp vision and keen perception allowed them to navigate the chaos without a single loss. A G9 light cargo ship's shield was breached, but before the Black Sun pilots could react, more Ghost Fighters, piloted by humans of the Fourth Civilization, surged into the battlefield with evident organization and strategy. The battle formation instantly morphed, adopting a claw-shaped array that split into 3 directions to encircle the enemy. The 36 fighters unleashed a coordinated assault, firing 108 blue laser beams that converged on the XS stock light cargo ship leading the charge. The G9 cargo ship, already compromised by shield penetration, was hit by 6 missiles almost simultaneously, erupting into a fiery inferno. Meanwhile, the 12 Hammer-class corvettes maintained their positions on the outskirts of the battlefield. As the Black Sun fleet's attention was drawn by the Ghost Fighters, these corvettes launched a relentless barrage of plasma bombs. From the command center, Tang Xiao observed the unfolding chaos through the screen. He watched as the gnolls' Ghost Fighters sliced through the enemy's formation with lethal precision, while the Hammer-class frigates systematically dismantled the opposing shields with their plasma bombs. The human-piloted Ghost Fighters then methodically targeted and destroyed each spaceship left vulnerable without its shields. The Gemini missiles proved moderately effective against the shields, but it was the combined might of the Ghost Fighters and the Hammer-class frigates that truly decimated the enemy's armor. Despite the loss of 3 Ghost Fighters, the battle quickly turned into a massacre. The Black Sun Pirates' formation disintegrated, leaving them to fend for themselves in isolated skirmishes. Only a solitary CR-70 frigate remained, desperately trying to fend off the onslaught from over 20 Ghost Fighters. Its shields buckled under the continuous barrage of blue lasers and plasma bombs. "Manager, the remaining spacecraft has issued a surrender request," Qijian reported, turning to face Tang Xiao. Without a moment's hesitation, Tang Xiao stood and exited the bridge, his voice cold and resolute. "Leave no survivors. I have no interest in the CR-70. Under the horrified gaze of the Black Sun pirates, the Fourth Civilization's fighters, having briefly paused, launched into action once more. Like predators descending upon their prey, they unleashed a relentless storm of lasers and plasma bombs upon the beleaguered CR-70 frigate. The pilot of one of the Fourth Civilization's fighters roared over the comms, "I am a natural disaster, kill!" On the planet Celia, Yuri Orlov switched off the hologram and turned to Yvonne Meng with a smile. "It was a minor inconvenience. A band of pirates attempted to hijack our trade route, but we've dealt with them." Yvonne Meng, his voice grave, inquired about the fate of the Black Sun spaceship. Yuri waved off the concern nonchalantly. "What of it? They chose to cross us. Isn't that right, Mr. Yvette? Now, let's move on. What are you interested in acquiring next? Weapons, rare minerals, perhaps ships?" "I'm interested in your fighter jet," Afonte declared, pointing to the hologram. "Its aerodynamic design suggests it's capable of atmospheric combat, correct?" "Indeed, you're correct. However, you must understand that the CFA-17 Ghost Fighter is among the galaxy's elite combat aircraft. Its acquisition won't come cheap," Yuri replied, his smile unwavering. Note, the URLs and references to the novel's online presence have been omitted for narrative coherence and immersion. Vol 2, Chapter 115, Situation Development. In the bustling heart of Coruscant, Francis Underwood watched with a sly smile as ghost fighter jets besieged a Black Sun pirate ship, displayed on the screen before him. It seems our friends have made a wise choice in refusing to surrender. This serves as an excellent demonstration, he remarked. Claire, puzzled, inquired, "What is Tang Xiao trying to convey by sending us this footage?" Francis turned to her, his smile unwavering. "Exactly what I mentioned, a demonstration. He's also showing us the importance of taking a stand." "And what is your response?" Claire asked, leaning closer, a playful smile on her lips. Francis, with a dismissive wave of his hand, replied, "Loyalty is but an illusion crafted by the powerful to control the weak. I have no need for such a burdensome illusion." He gently patted Claire's hand, adding, "However, that won't deter me from aspiring to be an exemplary Imperial Prime Minister." "So, you've started to believe in Tang Xiao's vision?" Claire probed further. Holding a book, Francis responded with a knowing smile, "I believe it's worth a try. The journey may be fraught with challenges, but the outcome promises to be rewarding." He placed the book on the table, revealing its title, Use Power Wisely, Remain Humble, authored by none other than Naboo Planetary Counselor, Schiff Palpatine. Francis's smile held a deeper meaning as he pondered the future. On the remote planet of Sojourn, located in the outer rim of the Milky Way, Darth Plagueis momentarily paused his research. With a simple gesture, he commanded the medical droid 11-4D to clear the array of biological specimens and experimental tools from his workspace. His attention was captured by a hologram showcasing dozens of ghost fighters encircling a CR-70 frigate marked by the Black Sun insignia. "Vigo Cash Garrulon, you've truly disappointed me. The Black Sun is proving to be quite underwhelming," Plagueis muttered disdainfully. "Well, let's see how you fare in building relations with Tang Xiao. This could prove entertaining, and it's the perfect opportunity for me to divert my attention to the Bando Goza matter." On the planet Mercana, Vigo Cash Garrulon's fury resonated throughout his opulent villa. "Destroyed? Not a single survivor," he bellowed, his rage causing him to demolish everything within reach. "Sir, we've only managed to recover fragments of the battlefield footage. The attackers utilized a standard heavy fighter with performance metrics rivaling those of Galactic Republic military crafts," one of his aides reported. "How does a mere colonial group in some backwater possess such advanced technology? And I've never encountered this fighter model before." Garrulon exclaimed in frustration, "We're unsure, my lord. Further investigation is warranted. Additionally, there have been sightings of a Munificent-class frigate from the Interstellar Banking Association in the Endor Galaxy. Its presence there might hold some significance," the aide suggested cautiously. "Could they be clandestine assets of the Interstellar Banking Association?" Garrulon pondered aloud. "Mr. Garin, our leader, has been contemplating a move against them. Perhaps it's time to seek his counsel." "Lord Garrulon, what should be our next step?" the aide inquired tentatively. "First, gather more information. I want a comprehensive report on this colonial group in the Endor Galaxy. Until then, we proceed with caution. Their possession of standard fighter jets indicates significant industrial capabilities, not to be underestimated." However, Garrulon's eyes narrowed, his voice turning cold and menacing. "Anyone who dares to challenge the Black Sun, regardless of their status, will pay dearly." On the arid planet of Tatooine, beneath the scorching sun, a robot clad in crudely welded iron armor stood motionless beside a dune. "Jason Statham, is this the supply point you mentioned?" asked Magton Scar, a Boza man with a prominent scar across his face, known among the desperados hired by Ghidorah. A red light flickered beneath the robot's steel helmet as it responded in a monotone, "Correct. The supplies are buried just beneath this sand dune, approximately 50 meters from here." "The weapon was buried, and now it's moving," Robot Jason Statham announced, his voice cutting through the tense air. "Bastard, we've run out of ammunition and food, and you want us to dig through a dune?" Magton Scar roared in frustration. "It is precisely because you are out of ammunition and food that you need to dig this dune. According to my calculations, if you cannot dig through the dune within 2 hours, your physical energy will continue to be depleted due to lack of water, and eventually you will perish in the desert, Robot Jason Statham explained, his tone firm yet devoid of emotion. So, when will our Santa Claus, Yuri Orlov, come back? Broderick Gravel asked, his voice laced with a mix of hope and desperation. He said he would return to Tatooine with hope. Until then, the only thing you can do is survive, Jason Statham replied. I will help you. Meanwhile, in the Hutt space of the Milky Way, within the Hutt base camp on the planet Nal Hutta, tensions were high. The actions of Jabba and the Desaligic family have crossed the line. Not only did he destroy my property on Tatooine, but he even secretly dispatched the Hutt fleet there. I demand that the Great Council punish Jabba for his behavior. Ghidorah of the Basadi family passionately pleaded before the Hutt Great Council. Enough, Ghidorah of the Basadi family. Your accusations lack merit. Moreover, your involvement in the destruction of the Bountonite shuttle racing has caused us significant economic losses. Ruff, an elder Hutt, responded slowly, his voice carrying the weight of authority. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I had nothing to do with that. It was the Bassa people acting without my consent. Now, I'm the one searching for them. Ghidorah retorted, trying to clear his name. The Hutt Grand Council has made its decision. You and Jabba will resolve this matter between yourselves. The battleships of the Hutt fleet have already returned to their stations from Tatooine and will no longer intervene. Another Hutt, with darker skin, informed Ghidorah, his tone final. Do not test our patience, Ghidorah. This is already a show of leniency towards you. Ghidorah, his body heavy with both weight and disappointment, made his way out of the Parliament building. He cast a final, resentful glance at the magnificent structure of the Hutt Great Council before letting out a muffled grunt of frustration. Climbing into his spaceship, he flew into the vastness of space. Inside the spaceship, Ghidorah opened a communication channel and said dejectedly, The Great Council of Hutt has rejected my request. Even King Hago Damask Tech has cut off my funding. Now, Tatooine is beyond my reach. Attachment 1 of the Easter egg chapter, Ghidorah Basadi the Hutt. Note, the promotional links and instructions for bookmarking and sharing have been omitted for a more immersive narrative experience. Vol 2, Chapter 116, Mission Impossible, Star Wars The Fourth Scourge. I believe we have a solution, Ghidorah. As members of the Black Sun, it's only natural for us to assist in dealing with Black Go. Alexis Garen's figure materialized within the flickering holographic image. Deal with Black Go? No, that doesn't benefit me in the slightest. Ghidorah protested, his short arms flailing. However, if you don't eliminate Black Go, well, as far as I'm concerned, he might end up supporting Jabba. After all, his primary concern is the profits from the Bountonite shuttle races and securing the safety of the waterways around Tatooine. Who he aligns with is of little consequence to him, Garen explained with a sly grin. I'm cornered. If I abandon Tatooine, my only option is to return to Nishada. My estate is in ruins, my men have been massacred, and I see no future for myself. Ghidorah lamented, his voice filled with despair. I can offer you assistance, Garen stated calmly. Can you really help me? Ghidorah asked, skepticism evident in his voice, as he lowered his hands and focused on the holographic projection. But you must also assist me, Garen added. What more can I possibly do for you? Ghidorah sighed, feeling overwhelmed. Eliminating Hago Damask too would be beneficial for all of us, Garen revealed, a smirk playing at the corner of his mouth. This way, Hago won't be able to support Jabba, significantly reducing your burden. In return, I'll seize the opportunity to secure the rights to mine and export plasma from the planet Naboo. The profits will enable me to support you. Ghidorah's face twitched. What exactly do you want? A ruler of Tatooine who is loyal to me, Garen declared, his sneer widening. Once you take control of Tatooine, ensure my smuggling fleet can operate with ease. This will cut my transportation costs by 15%. Moreover, if the fleet can navigate through Hutt space untraced by the Galactic Republic, we can together establish an unparalleled smuggling empire. Ghidorah pondered for a moment before inquiring, What should I do now? Return to Tatooine. By any means necessary, keep tabs on Black Godamask II's movements. Then, strike when the time is right, Garen instructed, his thumb slicing across his throat in a decisive gesture. Kunti made his way to the manager's office aboard the Glory's mothership, where Tang Xiao awaited him. Manager, You wanted to see me? Tang Xiao gestured towards the sofa across from him. Please, have a seat. Let's talk. As Kunte settled down, he said, I'm all ears. Do you have any tasks for me? I've had plenty of downtime lately. If I don't get out soon, I might start growing fur. I know you've been living comfortably on Dawn Planet, surrounded by luxuries and beauty, always on standby for missions. But I understand that's not what you truly desire, Tang Xiao remarked thoughtfully. Kunte offered a forced smile in response. It's time I kept my promise. The Lancer will no longer be part of the Fourth Civilization Navy's combat fleet. It will officially become your ship under your command, Tang Xiao announced. You're no longer required to remain on standby at Dawn Planet. Instead, you're free to explore the galaxy. Perhaps you could even team up with Quinto and Spade's crew? So, you don't have any specific tasks for me? Kunte asked, slightly uneasy. Generic missions aren't suited for someone of your capabilities. You're more than just an exceptionally skilled pilot, Tang Xiao clarified, shaking his head. However, I do have a couple of tasks for you, actually 3, to be precise. Kunte nodded, intrigued. If you put it that way, these must be challenging tasks, right? The first task is for you to locate a fleet for me, Tang Xiao began. A fleet? Kunte echoed, curious. Exactly. A fleet comprising 200 Dreadnought-class heavy cruisers, known as the Blade Fleet. These battleships are equipped with a significant number of ATPT all-terrain personal combat walkers, Tang Xiao elaborated, his fingers interlocked under his chin. Around 10 or 11 years ago, approximately in 45 BBY, this fleet was secretly assembled by the Galactic Republic. On a significant mission, the villager's frown deepened, signaling his understanding of the gravity of the situation. During a lengthy voyage, the fleet was struck by an outbreak of the hive virus, a pathogen that specifically targets crew members in hibernation. It infects the brain, inducing madness. Consequently, the entire crew of 200 ships, totaling 400,000 individuals, perished. Under the influence of a deranged navigator, all the warships executed a hyperspace jump to an unknown destination and vanished without a trace, Tang Xiao explained. No survivors? The villager inquired. Not a single one, Tang Xiao confirmed, shaking his head. Now, this fleet is lost somewhere in the Milky Way. We're talking about 200 Dreadnought-class heavy cruisers, each 600 meters long. The manpower required to operate these warships is substantial. Are there any insiders who might know more? Munter pressed on. There are, but it's futile. Predicting the destination chosen by a navigator in the throes of madness is impossible, Tang Xiao replied. Munter sighed deeply and leaned back on the sofa, his mind racing with the possibilities. If we could reclaim this fleet, our power would be unmatched in the galaxy, rivaled only by the Galactic Republic and the corporate behemoths. But I don't expect you to find it, to be honest, Tang Xiao admitted. Munter gave a wry smile. They could be anywhere in the universe, making truly random jumps. Without any leads, it's like searching for a needle in a cosmic haystack. It seems you're really set on casting me adrift in the sea of stars, never to return. Tang Xiao offered a slight smile. This mission is just one of several. You're aware of the Black Sun's previous incursion into our galaxy. Their arrival wasn't without reason. They were preparing to move against Hego-Damask II. So they decided to vent their frustrations on us? Munter asked. No, it was Black Gi who directed their attention our way, Tang Xiao clarified, his expression darkening. Regardless, the Black Sun represents our most formidable challenge ahead. I need you to gather all the information you can about them. Understood. Where should I start? Munter inquired, ready to take on the task. The Black Sun is forging alliances with Ghidorah the Hutt, Bando Gosa, a terrorist organization, and Ars Varuna, the king of Naboo. They're orchestrating an assassination attempt on Hego-Damask II. I need the specifics of their plan, Tang Xiao instructed. And you plan to eliminate Black G as well? Munter probed. No, I intend to expose the Black Sun's plot to Black G and earn his favor, Tang Xiao revealed with a cunning smile. Earn his favor? After he betrayed you, you're still willing to aid him? Munter shook his head, bemused. How do you come by such detailed information? Whether it's the Black Sun's covert operations or the fate of the Blade Fleet, you seem to observe from the sidelines, privy to every secret. Tang Xiao smiled enigmatically. because I can predict the future. For those captivated by Star Wars: The Fourth Calamity and eager for more, follow the links provided for the latest chapters, full text, and mobile reading options. Remember to bookmark your current chapter for easy access during your next reading session. If you've enjoyed this tale, consider sharing it with friends on QQ, blogs, WeChat, and more. Your support is greatly appreciated. Volume 2, Chapter 117, Tang Xiao and Darth Plagueis. 3 months swiftly passed, ushering in a new year in the Milky Way, 34 BBY. This marked the 8th month since Tang Xiao and the Mothership arrived in this world. The galaxy celebrated the arrival of the new standard year, oblivious to the fact that the era of peace was dwindling. The ominous march of war crept closer with each passing day. For some, the dawn of the new year would never break. In the aftermath of a silent battle, Tang Xiao flicked his alloy longsword, casting a drop of blood onto the lifeless body below. A satisfied smile curled at the edge of his lips as he surveyed the scene of his victory. Impressive, Tang Xiao. 13 enemies dispatched with precision. Darth Plagueis commended from the shadows, his voice laced with approval. Darth Plagueis, shrouded in a black cloak that concealed his form, had observed the carnage from a distance. Despite not participating, he accurately recounted the number of foes Tang Xiao had eliminated. Sheathing his longsword and holstering his pistol, Tang Xiao pulled his cloak's hood over his head. Simultaneously, he employed the Force to obscure his facial features, ensuring that any onlookers would find his visage unmemorable. Under Darth Plagueis' tutelage over the past 3 months, Tang Xiao had been introduced to the basics of the Force. However, Plagueis' methods were far from conventional. He thrust Tang Xiao into the heart of darkness, compelling him to embrace the path of the assassin. This brutal initiation was designed to strip Tang Xiao of his inhibitions, pushing him towards the dark side. Although Tang Xiao had yet to earn the right to wield his own lightsaber, Plagueis had already begun to focus his training on close combat. Transitioning from firearms to the more personal engagement of sword and pistol, Tang Xiao's regimen also emphasized physical conditioning. Supervised by a T-850 android resembling Arnold Schwarzenegger, his training encompassed not only strength and endurance, but also agility and flexibility. The Force was also a tool to enhance his physical capabilities, setting him far above the average human. On this occasion, Tang Xiao had infiltrated a stronghold of the Bando Gosa terrorist organization, eliminating every member within. Such a feat was impossible through brute force alone. "What did you uncover?" Plagueis inquired, his tone dark. Tang Xiao presented a storage device he had secured from the scene. "I retrieved this. They attempted to destroy it. I'll have my team decrypt its contents." "Do so promptly," Plagueis commanded before departing. Holding the storage device, Tang Xiao reflected on his recent missions. Plagueis had directed him to dismantle several Bando Gosa cells, hinting at a looming threat against them. Yet the identity of their adversary remained elusive. The only lead was Bando Gosa, linked to Samir Sahad, whom Tang Xiao had previously captured. From Tang Xiao's perspective, the motives of Ghidorah and the Black Sun Syndicate were clear. However, from their adversary's viewpoint, the audacity and involvement of these factions were baffling. A misjudgment of the alliance between Ghidorah, Black Sun, and Naboo had nearly led to their downfall, an assassination attempt thwarted only by Jabba's timely intelligence. Now Tang Xiao was poised to unravel this mystery, determined to claim the credit for himself. Darth Plagueis spoke with a chilling tone. "I have several important research projects coming up. Keep a close watch on the Bando Gosa line for me. Report any findings immediately." Tang Xiao, with his head bowed, responded, "Yes, I've already started to make some progress. I believe it won't be long before I uncover Bando Gosa's intentions." "Your mastery of the Force is still rudimentary. Remember, the Force isn't just for lifting heavy rocks to strike your foes. It can also be used with precision, like threading a needle to etch patterns on the skin," Plagueis instructed. "Yes, my lord," Tang Xiao acknowledged. "You may leave now. I've secured an order for you. The defense forces of Mullenster Planet wish to purchase 10 ghost fighters at a price of 300,000 credits each." "I'll start the production immediately," Tang Xiao assured. "Good. I've left a training plan for you. Follow it diligently. And—" Plagueis' voice darkened. You should get out more. Heh. Tang Xiao remained silent, understanding that Darth Plagueis was subtly encouraging him to engage in more lethal activities. Through their interactions, Tang Xiao had come to see a different side of Darth Plagueis. The Sith Lord was deeply invested in researching Midlandia or fibrils, which he believed were crucial in generating the Force within the human body. If not for the looming threats against him and the discovery of a promising talent like Tang Xiao, Plagueis would have preferred to remain secluded, engrossed in his studies. Despite his self-assurance and arrogance, Plagueis had delegated the task of overthrowing the Galactic Republic to his apprentice, Darth Sidious, dreaming of ascending to the pinnacle of power once Sidious succeeded. Plagueis's mentorship of Tang Xiao was sporadic, consisting mainly of assignments to dismantle enemy strongholds, whether they belonged to Bando Gosa or opposed the Damask Holding Group. Beyond these missions, Plagueis paid little attention to Tang Xiao, focusing instead on his research. Despite his formidable intellect and strategic acumen, Plagueis's end was shaped by a betrayal from his own master. The Sith tradition of apprentices killing their masters to ascend was one Plagueis himself had followed. However, his master's final act was an attempt to resurrect Plagueis using the power of a worm, which ultimately failed. This failure left Plagueis unable to sense impending danger, a vulnerability he was unaware of, leading to his overconfidence and eventual downfall. Tang Xiao, recognizing this flaw, saw an opportunity to advance secretive agenda. Plagueis's trust in him grew, allowing Tang Xiao more freedom and bringing him closer to his goals. For readers eager to follow Tang Xiao's journey and the intricate dynamics of his relationship with Darth Plagueis, Star Wars: The Fourth Calamity offers a compelling narrative that blends the familiar universe of Star Wars with new, intriguing elements. Please share this book with your friends through QQ, blogs, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Vol 2, Chapter 118, Legendary Hacker, Star Wars: The Fourth Scourge. Back on Dawn Planet, Tang Xiao made his way to a luxurious villa enveloped in the fragrance of flowers and the chirping of birds. This villa, originally bestowed upon the master computer expert Tremi Brad, had since transformed. Brad, with his exceptional adaptability, had truly made it his home, relocating his studio here. After several renovations, the villa had evolved into the nerve center for the computer science department. The once cherished big bird that lived under the windowsill had met an unfortunate end, devoured by the insatiable tech enthusiasts. Navigating through a maze of wires and computer parts strewn across the floor, Tang Xiao entered Brad's laboratory. Despite his position as manager, the tech aficionados he passed paid him no mind. It wasn't until he reached the laboratory that he was finally acknowledged. "Yo, manager, when did you arrive?" greeted a woman in her 20s. Slightly overweight, she had slender almond-shaped eyes and a round chin. Her beauty was unconventional, accentuated by long black hair that cascaded over her shoulders, highlighted with 2 strands of purple. "I've brought back a storage device for Brad to analyze. How are things on your end? Have you managed to hack into the Black Sun's network, Super Lotus?" Tang Xiao inquired. The woman, known only by her codename Super Lotus, was a legendary hacker. Her skills were honed after the Fourth Civilization's collaboration with the Damask Holding Group, which granted her access to the Galaxy Holographic Network and the Interstellar Banking Association Financial Network. She drew her inspiration from Command & Conquer General, embodying the prowess of the Black Lotus from the Yanhuang Empire's hacking force. Penetrating the Black Sun's network is a formidable challenge. Their defenses are robust, likely because they're accustomed to being the aggressors in cyber warfare. If we don't make progress soon, I recommend we shift our focus away from the Black Sun's network, Super Lotus advised. "What's the plan then?" Tang Xiao asked. "We aim for the top echelons of Black Sun." "Understood. Though it's been relatively quiet on their end recently. I've been looking for something to do." "I do have some good news," Super Lotus said, directing Tang Xiao's attention to her screen. "Take a look at this. We've uncovered evidence of corruption involving Thunback Tula, a member of the Semirish people." A smile crept onto Tang Xiao's face. "Pass this information to Francis Underwood. He'll know exactly what to do with it." Their conversation attracted the attention of Tremi Brad, the master computer system expert, who emerged from the depths of the lab. "Manager, what have you brought me? I've got something important to share with you," Brad said. "What is it?" Tang Xiao asked, intrigued. "The computer host you retrieved from the Bandogosa space station. I've finally cracked its heavy encryption and unearthed its deepest secrets." "And what did you find?" "Data pertaining to a nuclear bomb." "A nuclear bomb?" "Exactly. I've forwarded this data to Dr. Guanyan. She confirmed that if this bomb were to detonate on Dawn Planet, it would not only scorch the planet, but could also irreversibly devastate its ecological environment. In essence, it could obliterate a smaller planet in an instant. This must be the weapon intended for the assassination of Black J. Damask II. If the bomb were to hit while he's on the planet, there'd be no escape for him." Tang Xiao pondered for a moment before turning to Super Lotus. "Can you trace the origin of this nuclear bomb's materials?" "In theory, yes. Although nuclear technology is relatively straightforward in this era, the extraction of reactive materials requires specialized equipment. It's unlikely such a significant operation would leave no trace." "Excellent. And you mentioned needing something earlier?" "Yes, Manager. Could you procure a generous class communication frigate for me? With such a vessel, I could infiltrate the financial network more effectively." Chao Lianhua blinked at Tang Xiao, a drop of cold sweat forming on Tang Xiao's forehead. "This is a massive warship, over 800 meters long. Do you really think you can just take it? Besides, I've already checked with Black G. Even if we were to purchase it from the Interstellar Banking Association, the Generosity-class frigates they sell don't come equipped with hyperspace communication repeaters." Super Lotus sighed in disappointment and slumped back into her seat. "Oh, okay. But..." Tang Xiao paused, pondering for a moment before continuing. "I have a different plan for you. Next month, I'll transfer you to Coruscant. You can pose as Rosanna Good's assistant. It will be your job to keep an eye on Frances Ann Durwood. Given the wealth of information in Coruscant, it should be easier for you to operate there. Before that, you'll head to planet Celia, to Yuri Orlov's location. I like this arrangement. I promise to complete the mission." Chao Lianhua stood up, saluting Tang Xiao with military precision. It was then that Tang Xiao remembered her background. She had served in the military before retiring to join Black Lotus, the hacker unit of the Yanhuang Empire. Exiting the villa of the computer science department, Tang Xiao took a deep breath and shook his head. In the sky, a circular metal structure was flying towards the outskirts of Dawn City. The building, supported by several large engine vents, moved slowly but steadily. Tang Xiao pointed at the structure and said to Gulaham, who was with him, "This is the third mobile command center deployed this month, isn't it?" "Yes. After the successful research and development of the SCV, we quickly resolved the technology for the mobile command center. It's incredibly useful. The production facilities inside can construct modular buildings and produce more SCVs. This particular mobile command center is headed to a mountainous area 200 kilometers south to establish a new mine," Gulaham explained. "And what about the large group of Ewoks clinging to the command center?" Tang Xiao inquired, pointing at the excited Ewoks with a bemused expression. Gulaham sighed, covering his forehead. "These Ewoks, they see the mobile command center as a divine gift. To them, it's the altar of the Great Spirits, and by climbing it, they believe they will receive the Great Spirit's blessing." Tang Xiao pointed to himself. "If I recall correctly, am I not considered the Great Spirit by the Ewoks?" "Since the Ewoks don't see you often, they naturally need a symbol. Thus, the mobile command center has become that symbol," Gulaham explained. "Okay," Tang Xiao nodded, his gaze drifting towards Dawn City, where a bustling metropolis was gradually taking shape. Attachment 1 of the Easter egg chapter, Command and Conquer General, featuring Super Lotus. For easier reading and to keep track of your progress, consider adding this chapter to your favorites. If you've enjoyed Star Wars: The Fourth Calamity, please consider sharing it with your friends through QQ, blogs, WeChat, and other platforms. Your support is greatly appreciated. Vol 2, Chapter 119, The Inauguration of the Vengeance-class Destroyer. Star Wars: The Fourth Scourge. Over the past 3 months, Dawn City has undergone a remarkable transformation, expanding more than twofold. Skyscrapers, some exceeding 10 stories, have begun to dominate the skyline. With a constant influx of new residents, the city's population has surged to 40,000. This rapid development can be attributed to the influx of robots from the Damask Holding Group. Following an agreement with Gross Sherbia, the Fourth Civilization secured a deal to introduce 10 million robots, leveraging its resource output and industrial capabilities. The majority of these are B-1 battle droids, complemented by a contingent of 1,000 B-2 super battle droids. The initial shipment included 10,000 B-1 battle droids and 100 B-2 super battle droids. The B-2 units were integrated into the ground forces of the Fourth Civilization, while the B-1 droids were programmed for a variety of roles including firefighting, security, construction, transportation, mining, and driving trucks. The presence of B-1 robots bustling through the streets of Dawn City has significantly reduced the need for human labor, allowing the city to expand at an unprecedented rate. With construction workers temporarily out of jobs, many have opted for SCV driving training, preparing to operate these vehicles. Others have sought to advance their careers by training as architects and structural engineers, moving from hands-on construction work to managerial roles. The city's growth and burgeoning population have also increased the demand for education and entertainment. With an ample supply of robot labor, Tang Xiao has initiated the construction of numerous schools to foster a more versatile and skilled workforce. This includes language schools, vocational schools, and even institutions aimed at nurturing high-level intellectuals. On the entertainment front, following the establishment of a film company, Dawn City has launched its first media company, Dawning Media. Serving as the official voice of the Fourth Civilization, it features two main programs, the Voice of the Galaxy and the Dawn Channel. The Voice of the Galaxy program curates and broadcasts news from the Galactic Republic's holographic network, keeping citizens informed about galactic events. The Dawn Channel focuses on the achievements of Tang Xiao and the Fourth Civilization. The rise of entertainment media has spurred the need for televisions, computers, and internet access, creating an associated industrial chain. As the city continues to grow, the demand for infrastructure and industrial output has skyrocketed. Factories and labor are in constant demand. Amidst this bustling development, several reporters approached Tang Xiao, cameras in tow. They saluted respectfully before announcing, "Mr. Manager, the Mothership is prepared. The inaugural ceremony for the Vengeance-class destroyer will take place this afternoon. We plan to broadcast the event live." "No problem. Let's head to the Mothership," Tang Xiao responded, nodding in agreement. As the familiar tune played, a charismatic reporter appeared on screen. "Dear viewers, welcome to the Dawn Channel of the Fourth Civilization. Today marks a momentous occasion. After 3 months of relentless effort, our civilization's first 100-meter class battleship, the Vengeance-class destroyer, is ready for its maiden voyage." The camera panned out to reveal the vast hangar platform of the Glory Mothership. However, under the director's careful guidance, only a glimpse of the spacecraft was shown, leaving the audience eager for more. The reporter continued, "Under the astute leadership of manager Tang Xiao, the Fourth Civilization has witnessed unprecedented growth and development. The launch of the Revenge-class light destroyer marks a significant milestone in our naval capabilities, heralding our civilization's first steps towards the vast expanse of the Milky Way." The scene shifts to Tang Xiao, clad in a military uniform, his hand resting on the hilt of a saber. A reporter introduces him, prompting Tang Xiao to step up to the podium. With a confident smile, he begins his speech. "From the moment I awoke, I was determined. Our destiny lies in the starry sea." His speech, filled with fervor, concludes with a dramatic gesture. The camera pans to reveal 2 imposing battleships, the Revenge-class light destroyers, ready for their maiden voyage. This achievement was made possible by Tang Xiao's foresight in initiating the construction of destroyer docks prior to the completion of the destroyer's design. Consequently, as soon as Feng Yongwang and his team finalized the design, 2 ships were immediately constructed. The Revenge-class light destroyer, with its unique design, features a short, stout body. The bridge is situated towards the rear, and a long pole, extending over 10 meters from the front, houses the electromagnetic interference device. This device can emit a powerful electromagnetic field, disrupting electronic systems within a certain range. The destroyer measures 108.7 meters in length, with a width of 34.4 meters and a bridge height of 41.6 meters. It is armed with 2 plasma bomb launchers, 2 large electromagnetic cannons, and 2 large blue laser cannons. While it lacks close-range defenses, the blue laser cannons serve as an effective means of interception. The crew comprises 74 individuals, including 40 B-1 combat robots assigned to various tasks. The ship's total weight is 15,000 tons, with a full load capacity of 17,065 tons. As the ceremony progresses, the 2 Revenge-class light destroyers are adorned with red silk flowers, and the crew lines up outside, their gazes fixed on Tang Xiao. I hereby declare the maiden voyage of the Revenge-class light destroyer. Tang Xiao announces. The residents of the Fourth Civilization, watching the live broadcast from Planet Dawn, erupt into cheers. Simultaneously, the 2 captains command, "Attention! Salute the manager." The crew, including the B-1 battle robots, salutes in unison. "About face! Board the ships," the captain orders. The crew swiftly lines up and boards the battleships. Within minutes, the destroyers' engines roar to life. Levitating 5 meters above the ground thanks to their anti-gravity devices, the ships await Tang Xiao's signal. With a flourish of his saber, Tang Xiao gives the command, and the 2 100-meter-long battleships glide forward, their red silk flowers scattering in the wind. Like 2 well-equipped warriors, they embark on their journey into the boundless battlefield of space. Attachment 1 of the Easter egg chapter, Revenge-class light destroyer. Note: the URLs and instructions for accessing further chapters or downloads have been omitted for clarity and to maintain focus on the narrative. I'm sorry, but it seems there was a misunderstanding. The text provided does not appear to be a chapter or excerpt from a Harry Potter fanfiction novel. Instead, it looks like a closing note or request for support from readers, possibly from a different story altogether. Could you please provide the actual text or chapter from the Harry Potter fanfiction that you would like to have enhanced? Vol 2, Chapter 120, Storm on Tatooine. In the vast expanse of space, 2 Vengeance-class destroyers showcase their prowess through a series of maneuvers, including cruising, full-speed sailing, complex maneuvers, and target shooting. Following these demonstrations, they officially joined the naval combat sequence of the Fourth Civilization. Tang Xiao observed the 2 destroyers with a fiery gaze. It had been only 8 months since his arrival in this world, and they had already constructed their own 100-meter-long space battleship. This achievement marked a significant milestone, signaling that the competition for dominance over the galaxy was imminent. Meanwhile, on the planet Tatooine, a fierce conflict had been raging for 3 months between Jabba the Hutt and Ghidorah the Hutt. The destruction of the last Bounty Knight sprinter race had enraged Jabba, who vowed to decapitate Ghidorah. Initially, Ghidorah was thrown into a state of panic, but she eventually regained her composure with the assistance of the Black Sun Syndicate. The Black Sun dispatched numerous members to Tatooine, providing Ghidorah with supplies and arms to bolster her defense against Jabba. With the backing of the Black Sun, Ghidorah's resolve hardened. She was determined to confront Jabba head-on, making Tatooine the battleground for their feud. The port of Mos Esper, along with the planet's 2 major cities, had turned into war zones, with conflicts erupting at every turn. The original inhabitants had no choice but to flee. To disrupt Ghidorah's supply lines, Jabba offered substantial bounties, enticing mercenaries and bounty hunters to target the spaceships delivering supplies to Ghidorah. Consequently, the space surrounding Tatooine was plagued by relentless gunfire. Ghidorah frequently implored Black-Go Damask II for assistance, much to his annoyance. Despite the murky situation on Tatooine, Black-Go was hesitant to pick sides prematurely. "Lord Black-Go, please, you must intervene. Jabba's pressure is relentless, but I've managed to hold my ground. With your support, I can surely expel Jabba from Tatooine." Ghidorah pleaded through her holographic projection, a plea she repeated almost daily. "Master Hai, grant me this opportunity. I will come to you, ready to fulfill any request, anything you desire." She implored. "Lord Kuroko." Blacko Damask II, visibly irritated, waved his hand, causing the communicator to fly across the room and shatter against the wall. He then turned to another holographic projection. "What's your take on this, Tang Xiao?" he inquired. Tang Xiao, cloaked in black and exuding a Sith-like aura, responded with a smile. "It's clear that Jabba holds the upper hand on Tatooine. Ghidorah's defeat is only a matter of time." "So, you suggest I should switch my allegiance to Jabba now?" Blacko probed. "Supporting Jabba now would be like adding icing on the cake. He may not even value your help," Tang Xiao advised, shaking his head. "Then, should we assist Ghidorah?" Blacko sneered. "Help a doomed cause. That would yield no returns," Tang Xiao remarked. "What do you propose, then?" Blacko pressed. "Your Highness, the wisest course of action is to hold your forces back and let the enemies weaken each other," Tang Xiao suggested. "Foolish. If I remain idle until Ghidorah is defeated by Jabba, I'll have even less leverage to gain any benefits from Jabba." Blacko retorted angrily. Tang Xiao bowed deeply. "I seek your guidance, Master." He refrained from providing a direct answer, hinting that, unlike the cunning Darth Sidious, he still had much to learn from his master. "With your current capabilities, how do you plan to challenge the Galactic Republic? Without my guidance, you are nothing," Blacko declared. "I have much to learn from you, Honorable Master," Tang Xiao replied humbly. "Even if it takes decades, your vast knowledge and wisdom are invaluable to me." With a sigh, he mused, "I really should stay put now, but just because I'm not moving doesn't mean I can't influence the situation on Tatooine." Higi, still basking in Tan, Ji Xiao's flattery, snorted and commanded, "It's your time to shine. Send someone to support Ghidorah discreetly." Tang Xiao, struck by a sudden realization, replied, "I understand, my lord. You aim to diminish Jabba's advantage before assisting him. Once I retract my support for Ghidorah, her power will crumble instantly." "Now that you understand, act swiftly," Hige ordered. "But if I start aiding Ghidorah, what about your relationship with her?" Tang Xiao hesitated, concerned about the long-term strategy. "I know how to handle Ghidorah. Focus on your task." Hige dismissed the concern. Acknowledging the command, Tang Xiao ended the communication. He casually removed some earwax, examined it, then blew it away. He then instructed, "Master, inform Volgograd Kanedi that his pirate ship should prepare to depart." "Understood, manager," came the reply. Tang Xiao approached the porthole, gazing into the vast expanse of the universe. After a moment, he added, "Also, tell Yuri Orlov it's time for Santa Claus to make an appearance." Meanwhile, on the planet Celia, Yuri Orlov, enjoying a cigar, received the message. Turning to the woman beside him, he inquired, "The manager wants me to take action. Have you completed your task?" The woman, known as Super Lotus, was diligently working at a terminal. With a final keystroke, she announced, "Done. Their computer systems are incredibly primitive, lacking any form of professional security. Installing a firewall was the biggest challenge, given my unfamiliarity with the Galactic Republic's systems. Now, ensure my actions remain undetected by Yvette Meng. I'm counting on his connection to Jabba for support," Yuri remarked, taking another puff of his cigar. "And about the Ghost Fighters deal, I've directly supplied him with 400,000 units of armor. You should know, the market's best starfighter costs around 150,000. Don't worry, he'll never discover our involvement. Plus, if he strikes another deal with Jabba, the Trojan horse I've implanted will infiltrate Jabba's system. That's when the real fun begins," Super Lotus assured him. She then closed her laptop, leaned back, crossed her legs, and sipped a frozen drink. Yuri Orlov laughed, walking over to Super Lotus and placing his hands on her shoulders. "Ha ha, you truly are the super hacker the manager appointed." Note, the URLs and references to the novel's chapters and download options have been omitted for a more immersive and narrative-focused revision.